The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. It's cold out there today.
Tonight's forecast, it's a cold town. Winter has come at last.
It's getting colder by the minute. If we don't do something soon, we'll all freeze.
What's the matter? You guys cold?
I think I figured out how to do it. Do what? Freeze myself.
I can't feel my fingers anymore. They're numb.
Maybe you should wear these extra gloves. My hands are starting to get sweaty.
You've had this pair of extra gloves this whole time?
Yeah, we're in the Rockies.
I'm going to kill you.
Oh, welcome back.
It's been a while.
How long has it been?
Not long enough.
It's Tuesday.
No, come on. This feels more like a Monday.
No, it's Tuesday. Back to work.
Why'd you have to say that?
Because it's
Showtime.
Yeah, it's cold, all right. Colder than a polar bear's ball bag out there. Colder than a mother-in-law's kiss. It ain't going to change anytime soon, so I guess we just got to suck it up. And welcome back to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. We were off for an extra day there over the weekend to honor Martin Luther King Day. We're happy to be back. And I'm happy to say that the radio program is back to full strength with our COVID monkey Dana back in the mix after missing a smooth week.
Yep. I asked him when he got here if he had any trouble finding the place. It's been a while for you.
It has been a while.
Exactly what I said.
Yeah, with the extra day, too. You know, I was just like, oh, my gosh. I've never been more excited to go back to work, as weird as that sounds. But it is good to be back.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? You're gone because you caught COVID. Mm-hmm. Number 4.
Yep, 4-timers club.
4-time champ.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a day off.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't. When it became Friday, I finally tested negative on Friday, and I was starting to feel better. And I was like, "Oh, I got a long weekend ahead." But I feel like I didn't earn this long weekend. You know what I mean?
We agree.
Yeah.
There's actually a text chain talking about that. Well, you're not on that text chain, but the rest of us are.
Oh, man. Speaking of cold, I'm guessing after a week at home, it's going to take a few days for your Nintendo game system to cool down.
Well, no, see, here's the thing is, so I was isolated at my apartment. I'm in the process of moving in with my girlfriend.
Oh, no.
So I was in my 1-bedroom apartment, and all of my video games and stuff were at her place. And she's a second-grade teacher. She doesn't need my help getting any more germs, so I decided to stay away from her. But I had zero access to any video games during the whole five-day stretch at home.
I bet you were miserable.
It was tough.
I would have gone crazy.
Bingo. If I had a bell in front of me, I'd ring it.
Man.
Gross.
Yeah.
What did I miss? What was gross?
He said lots of masturbation.
Oh, how did I miss that?
I don't know. I think you get in your own world sometimes.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Josh, didn't you masturbate a lot when you had COVID one time?
You know, we're talking about Dana.
Keep a gross spotlight on me, Waffle.
Yeah.
Josh is a grown man with children and responsibilities. He's not sitting around whacking off like a 9th grader.
That's why you went for it.
No.
You didn't have any responsibilities.
You're thinking of somebody else.
That's gross, man.
Isn't he, Josh?
He is.
That's just gross. Why would you ask him about that?
Would a guy, back when it was 10 days of isolation, right? Would a guy, during that amount of time, masturbate?
No.
And would he sink to new lows with his wife's hamper right there? Would he sink to lows? Would he go places he never thought he'd go? Did his nose maybe get him in trouble? No. It's gross.
You wanted to find out if you still had the sense of smell. That's one of the things that happens when you have COVID. You were just testing to see if, you still had the sense of smell.
I don't know why you'd even ask a guy about that.
I just want to know about Josh's masturbation habits.
I guess so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You should be sorry. I guess you do want to know about.
Just read my blog if you're that interested.
Can't wait for the OnlyFans.
I put in a pool over the weekend when we were gone, and I'm not trying to.
Christ Almighty.
Not trying to brag or anything. And you know what? A lot of people wouldn't have the courage to put a pool in their dining room, but I thought, why not give it a shot? Let's just try that out.
This is big right here. I'd much rather talk about this than, hey, how many times did you whack off? Because I was going to ask, with an extra day, is anything new with anybody? Wow, tell me about this pool you put in your where?
In my dining room.
Dining room.
Must be beautiful.
Well, we never use it as a dining room anyways. I don't even have a dining room table. Right, so it's just kind of sitting there. There's like a couch there and a little, what you might call a coffee table.
Gotcha.
And yesterday, I was jerking off. No, I wasn't doing that. I was in the kitchen and I hear this dripping.
Oh, boy.
And I thought, well, what could that possibly be? It's really loud. And I walked into the other room and I had a brand new pool from a pipe that decided, F you, I'm sick of transferring water in a normal way. I'm just going to drop it down into your living room or dining room.
Wow, you have the worst luck.
I know. Didn't we warn you?
Home stuff.
Didn't we warn you not to buy a house, Ashley?
Yeah, but I've never had any of those problems.
It's been 2 months.
I had somebody tell me yesterday that we are cursed and my house is haunted with all this stuff that's going on.
Seriously?
So you telling me, did the ceiling come down?
It didn't come all the way down, but it had like a bunch of nipples, like dripping water, right? Our floor's destroyed. We got, I don't know.
Wood floors?
Yeah. I think all right, that coffee table's done for.
How long did the water, tee off upon the floor and your table before you noticed what the hell was going on?
Well, I was asking, some men who, they knew what they were doing. I didn't know. And it had to have been a couple days, and we just missed it. You know what?
You never go in the room.
Yeah, you
never go in there. And I watched so much football over the weekend. I feel like a lazy piece of crap. And then I watched the new True Detective, which is excellent, by the way. And,
so you got the television on. You can't hear little dripping go. Right.
Not at all. No clue. So it had to have been at least a couple days.
My God. I'm so sorry to hear that. And
it's one of those things. What are you going to do?
Now, at this point, Josh, it's no longer just one of those things. It really isn't. I will do everything I can. No, I do ads for John Schuster. I don't know if you've heard him on the radio before.
I've heard him, yeah.
I could maybe hook you up. Let's get you out of this damn house. I'll call my guy John Schuster. Let's get you the hell out of this nightmare house that is no longer livable.
Trust me, I'm tempted.
God help us.
I'm down to commit some light arson for a small fee.
Right.
I don't think, you know what? My house is such a dick, it'll stand still.
It probably would survive arson.
Yeah, all it would do, it was the only thing that would catch fire is just our possessions. Like I bought a new TV last year, gone.
Dude.
Yeah, just everything we own would be completely destroyed. The house would be just fine.
Dude, I am so sympathetic. And honest to God, I think I might actually break down and cry over here. I feel so bad for you.
Oh, I know you've been in that spot before.
Yes, I have, but I don't have the repetitive issues that you do with your house. I mean, I'll give you all the credit in the world. If this were me, I wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting right now. I'd be in a friggin' nut house.
Oh, yeah, I would have snapped.
I'd be in an asylum. So, wow.
I got a little lucky, though, because one of the guys were looking at all the damage and stuff, and it could have been worse, right? It wasn't good, but it could have been worse. And so he's like, oh, we better check the basement. And I was like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh, no, I didn't even think about that.
Did anything come through the floor down into the basement?
No, luckily, no.
But you had a big enough pool of water on the floor to where it was a possibility.
Yeah, they definitely thought, oh, this isn't going to be good.
Oh, my God. Okay, I had a question. I'm just rageful even hearing about this because, like I already said, I would be out of my mind. Oh, was it a frozen pipe? That can't be possible.
No, it was just like, for whatever reason, it wasn't a frozen pipe. It was like one of the, hopefully I'm not saying this wrong, a solder joint just failed. And so I guess it was just kind of, there's a mist coming out of it. When they opened up the floor, they just saw a mist coming out of it, and it had been going for a couple days.
Let's get you out of this house. Really, honestly, what's keeping you?
A mortgage, a wife that wants to stay there, that kind of thing. You know. It's one of those things where I keep thinking, all this worst stuff is done.
It's not.
I keep thinking it couldn't get any worse than this. We've had to replace everything you never want to replace.
I think that there is a curse happening.
There is.
There's obviously
and there's weird stories about that house too.
Just get the hell out of there.
Like when we were moving there, I looked up the neighborhood I'm one of those nerds that likes to check the police reports to see if the neighborhood's good. I figured it was, but there were several calls to our street, and they were all that house. And then that house had sat vacant for about 3 years. A lot of smarter people than us decided they didn't want to buy that one.
Right.
And I thought, hey, we're getting a fixer-upper. We're the smartest people in the neighborhood. We're going to fix this thing up. And I had no idea.
You've been fixing it up ever since.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean,
Foundry Rat Jesus said, I never had those issues in Shakopee. That's true. Shakopee treated me right.
Shakopee sucks.
Although I did
Don't even bring up Shakopee.
I did have a bunch of what I learned later was ditchweed growing in this like little wooded area behind my house in Shakopee.
Marijuana?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
For me, I was terrified. I thought, oh no, the cops are gonna think I'm some sort of drug kingpin. Yeah. And so I called the cops. Like I didn't do it. I don't know who's out there. It wasn't me. And they came out, and the guy's like, the cop's like, yeah, you could go ahead and smoke this, but you're going to have a wicked headache. Oh, he said, this is complete garbage out here. Don't be worried about it at all.
So when the water incident happened while we were away, you didn't snap?
No. It's one of those
Man,
things.
how do you not snap?
Maybe just because at this point I'm totally immune. I didn't have to reframe the back of the house, or have somebody reframe the back of the house like last time. So I figure, okay, our floors are destroyed.
You're numb to the pain. You're numb to the frustration because you know the story about when I got water in my basement a few years ago. I don't know how I didn't die of a heart attack.
Well, that was like a full-time job for you for a couple days.
It was consistent water flowing onto the floors of my basement for nearly 12 hours.
Awful.
And that entire 12 hours, I had a wet vac on my back like I'm a damn Ghostbuster, sucking up the water as best I can and then dumping it and coming and sucking it back, racing around the basement, the perimeter of my basement, sucking up the water as it comes in. And I mean, I had multiple full-on adult meltdowns. I think the best way to describe my behavior, remember that scene from the movie Fargo when the redheaded dude who is planning on having his wife killed? Has everyone seen the movie Fargo?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The redheaded dude, he has these two guys kill his wife, but then the plan falls apart, right? Remember that scene where he's scraping the ice off of the front windshield of his car and he completely, and he melts down at the whole situation and he's just going, ah! And he's like slapping the windshield. That was me for 12 consecutive hours.
Man.
Not for a couple of minutes, for about 12 hours. Just a madman screaming at the situation.
I remember how pissed you were. That's just, water's the worst, man. Wisconsin Railroad Jesus said, this is a great conversation. After I put in an offer on a house last night, FML.
I can't believe this continues to happen to you, Josh. I'm as sympathetic as I could be. And again, holler at me if you need anything. Anything.
You're a good man.
I've got some connections. But also, if you just need to go out in the parking lot and turn over a dumpster or something, just I'll be there with you.
You know what I could actually use? Do you have any clean towels? All of ours are soaked.
I remember that too. Yeah. Racing through the house to find as many towels as you can.
That's where we were. I'm like, where are our towels? My wife's at work. I'm calling her and go, we need more towels. Always tired Southern Minnesota welder Jesus said, almost sounds like you're living in the movie Money Pit with Tom Hanks. It's funny you say that because just like a month ago, I showed that to my son just to say, hey, do you recognize any themes here from this house and our house? And then this happens.
So you really wouldn't get out of there? Have somebody fix this problem for you. You wouldn't say to yourself, that's it. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Now that it's fixed, let's sell this nightmare and get the hell out of here. You're not even close to that?
Well, as your friendly neighborhood garbage man says here in his text, I swear to God, house, if you break 13 or 14 more times, I'm out of here.
What a disaster. Just an unmitigated disaster. I don't even know what unmitigated means, but
It's one of those things, when you move into a house, you're like, oh yeah, we'll paint this wall, we'll put this up, we're going to make this look really cool. I haven't been able to do any of that stuff because I'm just repairing all the stupid things going on.
That sucks.
Well, I don't know what the hell's keeping you there. Well, things are tough all over, really. You ain't the only one suffering a little bit. Got a text message from Dairy Feeding Jesus. He said, can I get a word up? He's heading out to feed the Holsteins right now, Cubby.
Oof.
Got a level 8 overhang.
Man. I bet. I mean,
level 8.
That's rough.
Does it just come out as ice? What happens on a day like today?
Yeah. That's a it's a tough morning to have any kind of an overhang, let alone a level 8. So there you go. Wow. You are getting some text messages here, Josh. Folks relating to your disaster home that you live in. With some flood stories and things like that. So maybe that'll make you feel better to read through those.
Yeah, people are being very kind. I appreciate it. That's, like I said, one of them things. What are you going to
do? Keep telling yourself that.
You know what you're going to do? You're just going to let the idea of retirement flitter away.
Yeah.
Just let it go. Adios, retirement.
I remember a good pal of mine was in a similar situation as you. The home that he purchased just could never get right, and something was always falling apart. And I remember him. Not that this is going to, wildly impress anybody. It was just a moment in time. The way he described his situation, he said, I'm hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging. And when he said it that way, it really hit home the situation he was in. Hemorrhaging money.
When the guys were taking a look at everything, they even went up into the attic. They're trying to figure out where the heck is this coming from? And then they're like, hey, did you know you have no insulation on half your house? I'm like, perfect. That's awesome.
Why do they got to kick you when you're down?
Well, it's nice of them to tell me, but right. Like, awesome.
Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even want to know if I were you.
I'd be out of there faster than you can say Jack Robinson. You're more patient than I. So what else is going on around here? It is Tuesday morning. I might make a couple of mistakes today.
Why do you say that?
Just be thinking it's Monday morning.
Oh, I hear you.
Specifically.
Hey, when you were watching football, did you wear your Baker Mayfield jersey at all?
I didn't watch 10 seconds of football.
Oh, we're not even the Browns game?
Maybe 10 seconds. Huh. I just had other things going on. So I'm aware of the fact that the Browns just got double pumped.
Yeah, that was ugly.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't watch any football this weekend at all. I certainly, have followed what's been happening. But my Baker Mayfield jersey, gorgeous jersey that you got me.
I do love that jersey.
The old school creamsicle 70s and 80s Tampa Bay style that they should go back to permanently. But of course they won't. No, I didn't have it on because, like I said, I wasn't connected to any football at all this weekend. But I've got a day to wear it now. Saturday afternoon, they play Detroit, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Lions won, the Buccaneers won. The Buccaneers play at Detroit Saturday afternoon. I think I'm accurate with that statement. And that'll be the day when I can piss some folks off, because at my neighborhood bar, there's a dude that's been a regular there now for a couple years, and he's a Michigan guy. He was touching himself when the Wolverines won the national championship a couple weeks ago. He's touching himself all over town over the Lions, and I know he'll be at my neighborhood bar Saturday afternoon to watch that Lions game. So that's when I walk into the joint. That's when I walk into the joint wearing my Baker Mayfield jersey, Buccaneers jersey. Maybe I'll even act as if I'm a Tom Brady fan for a while and talk about his run to the Super Bowl title with the Buccaneers. You know, see what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
I can, what was the other situation when the Buccaneers won it all in the early 2000s? Who was running things back? Tony Dungy, right?
Brad Johnson.
Well, yeah, the core, I'm talking about who was coaching the team.
I see.
So anyway, I can become a brand new Buccaneers fan starting Saturday, Josh. So that Mayfield jersey's not going to go to go to waste.
Yeah, you could maybe look up some fun facts just about Tampa in general.
Yeah, Florida. you know how much I love Florida.
Oh, heck, who doesn't?
Everybody knows how much I love Florida, so this could be a big Saturday for me. But yeah, I just couldn't settle in and act like I gave two squirts about any of the football games over the weekend. Yeah, I get burned out on the NFL. By the time the playoffs comes around, it better be pretty effing special, or
my wife
I've kind of had enough. You know,
I was the opposite. My wife had to roll me over so I didn't get bed sores. You know,
just watched all the games. Yeah. It didn't matter what it was.
No, I was interested in all of them.
Yeah, same here.
There was something I was interested in each one, pretty much.
All right, well, good for you guys. I just it didn't grab me. But like I said, I'm going to go for it on Saturday. I'm going to be a total prick about this from here on out.
Shipman Jesus said he lost a bet last night. Now he has to buy a Mayfield jersey. But he said it's worth it to see the Eagles lose.
Yeah, it's a good-looking jersey. It is. Get that creamsicle one. Don't go with the new stuff. I mean, I know it's a little more difficult to find the creamsicle one, and maybe it costs a few more bucks, but it's worth it.
I got it on, I think it's NFLshop.com. And there wasn't a lot left. So, like, certain sizes were sold out. So, but, maybe they've re-upped them.
Yeah, in preparation for them being in the playoffs, maybe.
What the hell?
Yesterday, I came across, I forgot, I was looking for something, and then I came across a whole bunch of Josh Dobbs jerseys on sale. Felt bad for the guy.
Oh, man.
Discounted price.
Yeah, and a lot of people were selling them. Like, all right.
We will pay you $5 to take this out of our store so we can clear the inventory.
Wasn't that something, how everybody just lost their friggin' mind over that Josh Dobbs dude? Some of us did. Okay, people are telling me that the Buccaneers and Lions play on Sunday? Well, that kind of kills me.
I don't remember. They ran last night.
I got it here somewhere.
They ran down the schedule, and it was tough to pay attention.
Saturday is Texans-Ravens at 3:30, Packers and 49ers in the night game.
For Christ's sake.
Sunday is Buccaneers-Lions at 2.
For
2 our time?
Can we take next Monday off?
I'd imagine. Why not?
God dang it. That kind of ruins my plans. Anyway, what else is going on around here? It's Tuesday morning. Oh, Randy Shaver will jump in with us at 7:30, and we'll get all this straightened out. Football, every effing thing that's going on.
Dr. P, he's making a house call today.
Oh, for God's sake. The Dr. P's going to be here?
He'll be here.
All right.
Is Janelle coming in? Anybody talk to Janelle?
No, she's not.
She's not.
She's pretty pissed off.
Yeah, last week was too much for her.
Hey, is our Friday guest confirmed? I look at our schedule.
It is confirmed, yes. We will have Joe Schmidt and Joe Mauer in studio.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. That is very exciting.
Joe Schmidt and Joe Mauer in studio on Friday?
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Joe Schmidt wrote a children's book kind of centered around Joe Mauer, and they're going to come in and tell us all about it.
That's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever met Joe Mauer in person. Maybe real quick at Randy Shaver's golf deal, we might have shaken hands.
Yeah, we said hi to him.
Did we say hi?
Yeah.
Joe Schmidt, been in the business here in town for many, many years, and I don't know, you want to let the cat out of the bag now, Josh? You want to wait for Friday?
Why not? Let's, the folks nice enough to tune in right now. Joe Schmidt was our original first choice for our sports guy, and he turned us down. And the rest is history.
20 what? I don't know.
About 24 years, because we were, well, you know what? Maybe it was right when we started, so maybe it was 25 years ago. It was relatively soon after we started.
We are coming up, as we mentioned a week ago or so, we are coming up on the 25th anniversary of this radio program. February what, Josh?
February 10th.
February 10th will be 25 years for Cubby and I on air. So around 25 years ago, when we first got this nightmare fired up, we were looking for a sports guy, a television personality, and absolutely, the first guy we thought of was Joe Schmidt.
And, well, the radio station had a connection to Channel 5 because we were owned by the same company.
Oh, God.
So that's kind of how that started.
You got a good memory.
We were owned by Disney, which owned ABC, and so that's an ABC affiliate, if you didn't know, Channel 5, and so they figured what a natural choice, and we're like, hey, Joe, we'd love to have you in the show. He's like, nah, it's all right.
No, I'm going to pass on that, actually.
I'm good, thanks.
Back in those days, you lived in a reliable home with a roof.
I know.
Yeah, so
Shakopee, man.
Were you in Shakopee 25 years ago?
Yeah, in 99, I was in Shakopee.
No wonder you had a little less class. I remember that about you. You were a little more dirty and uneducated. Yeah, Joe Schmidt, I don't think he even gave us more of an explanation than just straight up no. So then we started, we didn't know, we had no idea who else was in town. We were like, who's Randy Shaver? No, of course, we knew who Randy Shaver was. Randy was our second choice. And here, the sumbitch is... What?
Oh, my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. Channel 9. We had him. He was our first sports guy.
Grayson?
Yes, Jeff Grayson.
Well, Jeff Grayson was on with me and a partner before.
Oh, so maybe he was because maybe he was pre-Joe Schmidt, because we had him on this version of the show.
Okay.
So Jeff, maybe that's what it was.
Is he's still in town doing something?
Let me look
Jeff Grayson. Jeff Grayson was on a morning program before the Half-Assed Morning Show that I was a part of. Got to know Jeff a little bit, and then when that show puked,
so
I don't remember that we had him on the Half-Assed Morning Show, but sure, he was on this frequency for even beyond 25 years ago. But anyway, Randy Shaver was not our first choice, and this will be the week that we remind him of that. Knock him down a peg or two.
It looks like Jeff Grayson is now the voice of the Milwaukee Bucks and Milwaukee Brewers for Bally Sports Wisconsin.
Well, isn't he a Milwaukee guy?
He is. Mm-hmm. He is.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm sure that's got to be a dream come true.
He's a Wisco guy, but he was in town doing other things for quite a stretch of time. Well, good for him. That must be, I bet you that's a blast for him.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Covering the Bucks and the Brewers, huh? Good for him. All right. Well, that's pretty cool to anticipate a visit from Joe Schmidt and Joe Mauer.
Oh, I'm so excited.
On Friday to talk. Don't make a jackass out of us, Ashley.
Why would I do that? I'm excited because not like in a weird, gross way, like because I find him hot. It's because he's the whole reason that I got into softball.
Well, what do you think of Joe Mauer? He's the whole reason why you got into softball. Oh God,
really?
When he and Morneau were cooking there back in the day, they had everybody watching baseball and getting involved in baseball and softball. Well, that's a hell of a deal. All right, let's take a little break. We got to call Josh's wife, find out if anything's going on at the house.
No. What's on fire now?
God dang. All right.
What's on fire now? Our new couch.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for having us, and we'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
Get an inside look at Hollywood with Michael Rosenbaum.
Let's get inside of Jennifer Love Hewitt.
It's dangerous, I think, to say to women, you can't look like you're not 22 to me anymore because I don't know how to take that. Okay, well, that's your problem because I'm 44. This is what I look like. By the way, she was a looker. Like, congratulations to that 23 or 25.
But I'm a different person now.
You know?
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Wherever you listen. Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, yeah. Our first stupid news report of the week is coming right up. I want to toss a couple of text messages your way before we head in that direction. Oh, man, Cubby was telling a terrible story earlier. More trouble with this garbage house that he bought a number of years ago. There's always walls falling in or toilets backing up or the electricity fails or this or that. You're always some kind of a nightmare going on at Josh's house. And while we were on our 3-day weekend, he had a pipe burst on him. Water coming down through the ceiling onto the floor. Ceiling destroyed, floor destroyed.
I put in a pool in our dining room.
Put in a pool.
So I'm looking for someone to build me a deck. so we can just kind of hang out around the pool.
Yeah, we can get invited over for a pool party.
Yeah, well, just whenever you guys want.
Just come on over.
Yeah.
Another
open door policy.
Another home disaster story from Josh this morning. So before we went into our little commercial break and maybe we played a song, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I joked around and said, while we're on break, we'll call Josh's home, make sure call the wife, make sure everything's still standing over there. Got a text from Ask Me About CrossFit Jesus. He says, no need to check on Josh's wife. We're fine over here.
You dick. Why would he do that? He's usually so cool.
The floor isn't the only thing that's wet, he says.
Oh my goodness.
And then also, this is a lot of fun, and we hope everything turns out all right. Apparently coming up this Friday on the Half-Ass Morning Show, we're going to have a couple of big-timers in studio with us to have a little conversation. Joe Schmidt, local sports guy. He still works for Channel 5?
Yep.
Joe Schmidt.
Talented dude.
And Minnesota Twins all-timer and possible first ballot, right? First ballot?
Yep.
Possible first ballot Hall of Famer Joe Mauer. They'll be in studio with us Friday, barring some kind of catastrophe. Maybe something happens at Josh's house that cripples Joe Schmidt and Joe Mauer. You never know. So that's really exciting. But guess who texted us, Josh?
Who dat?
As soon as we mentioned that Joe Mauer is coming in studio. You know that guy that's been texting us for years?
Oh, that doesn't like Joe Mauer?
Well, he doesn't like the way we quote kiss his ass all the time.
Yeah, that particular guy.
We're always dumping dome on Joe Mauer over the decades. Anytime we say anything positive about Joe Mauer, this guy texts in. Well, he texted again this morning. He said, finally, after all these years, Joe Mauer will get that in-person BJ from the Half-Ass Morning Show. From the Half-Ass. You're damn right. He better hang on to something. Joe Mauer better hang on to something.
Yeah, he's got to ask his wife for a hall pass. That's true. He's going to leave a satisfied man.
I love that guy. All right, here we go with the stupid news. Here we go with the... I know one or two of you here on the program are big fans of that Pete Davidson dude. I still haven't seen him do anything other than fast food commercials.
Oh, yeah, I like him quite a bit.
Well, you've seen some of his Lonely Island bits. Oh, no, I'm getting him confused with...
Andy Samberg?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sure you've seen some of his stuff.
I haven't seen any of his movies. I don't know. I've seen him do commercials for Taco Bell.
Yeah, he does a lot of commercials.
That's it. That's my experience with Pete Davidson. But here's a hell of a Pete Davidson story. Straight from his big old yapper. It's about a dangerous stalker that was after his ass a few years ago. Here's the deal. Back in 2021, a gal by the name of Michelle Mootreddy. It's a new one for me. Mootreddy. Mootreddy. She was arrested for allegedly entering Pete Davidson's house. She also sent out a fake press release claiming that she and Pete were married. I mean, we're talking about wee-hoo. Mootreddy was found mentally unfit to stand trial and placed in the care of a psychiatric facility. According to Davidson's new Netflix special called Turbo Fonzarelli, that's not the whole story. Davidson told the crowd in this new Netflix special he once noticed a woman outside of his house wearing a T-shirt with his face on it. And naturally, that was a red flag. A red flag, as they say.
Be a little unsettling for sure.
Davidson lives with his mama.
He's kind of famous for that.
Mm-hmm. So he warned his mother to be on guard for lunatics. But Mom didn't fully appreciate the gravity of the situation. Pete said, I told her, I was like, someone knows where we live. Someone could come over and hurt you. And she goes, no, they're looking for you. They're not going to hurt me. And I was like, that's fair, but could you humor me? This is scary. I have a stalker, and you just gotta be aware in case she comes by. Well, Davidson's mother did not stay aware. Eventually, Pete left town, and the stalker came over to the house. Pete said, she rings the doorbell. My mom answers and goes, hey, who are you? And the stalker goes, I'm Pete's friend. My mom, of course, says, well, come on in. Here's Pete talking about it.
3 hours goes by. My mom finally thinks, maybe I should call Peter, see if he's coming by to hang out with his friend. She calls me. She goes, hey, where are you? I go, London. She goes, oh, well, your friend's here. I go, is she hot? And my mom goes, and I go, you're under attack! Run for your life!
You got a crush on him, right?
Oh, yeah. I find him so adorable.
So the stalker sat in his mother's home with his mother and his mother's friend, someone named Terry.
Classic Terry.
They all sat together and watched Grey's Anatomy for 3 hours.
3 hours.
A lunatic, Pete Davidson's mother, and Pete Davidson's mother's friend, Terry.
Who is a lady, by the way. In the special, the mom wants him to always say that. Make sure it's not a guy that's over there.
Okay. Eventually, Davidson's mother did notice something was off about this visitor. And she texted Pete, about it. When he realized, like you heard there in the audio, that this was a dangerous person, he advised his mother to act normal, head into the garage, and call the cops. And she did. And the stalker was arrested. But the stalker did leave a present for Pete their summers in the house that one of his friends found. Let's play What Did the Stalker Leave at Pete Davidson's House? Now, Josh can't play because he knows the story. And have the three of you over there in the other room, have you seen the new Pete Davidson special?
I have not, no.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
The audio, so I know.
Wapple, you're out. Yep. You're out.
All right, I'll guess an upper decker.
You think that the stalker left an upper decker at Pete Davidson's house? So what about you, Ashley?
Used tampon.
Okay, I think we have audio here. This is Pete's friend who found the present?
Yeah, Pete was on the phone with him, and he told the friend to open the package.
I'm on speakerphone. I just hear this. I hear. And then my boy just goes, oh! No! Bro! This is disturbing! I go, what is it? He goes, bro, it's 20 pairs of soiled underwear.
Soiled.
No.
20 pairs. She really had to save those.
What kind of soil are we talking about here?
There's no specifics in the soiling.
Okay.
There's no specifics on the soiling, I should say. I don't know if it was onesies, twosies. That's terrible. 20 damn pair. Well, there you go.
And you call yourself a fan, Ashley.
Yeah, I don't love him that much.
No, nobody loves anybody that much.
I'd chill with his mom and watch Grey's Anatomy for 3 hours, though.
Would you... I couldn't handle Grey's Anatomy for 3 hours. Could you... would you try this strategy with Ashton Kutcher? Just kind of... What is it, The Secret? Where you manifest it? Where you just say, yeah, we're married. And you just show up at his house. You're wearing his T-shirt and stuff like that. Just with the slim chance that maybe he just goes along with it.
Maybe when I was younger, but not now.
I could see you doing that.
Did you ever give forget the stalker scenario, unless any of you would like to admit to being stalkers. No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then forget the stalker scenario. Have you ever gifted a significant other something a little crazy like that?
No.
Here's a pair of my panties. Here's this or that. No? Okay.
Not even close.
I can't think of anything.
Just curious.
I mean, I had a girlfriend who would drop off baked goods, like for 2 years after we broke up.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That was
on certain milestones in our relationship.
That was scary. Bizarre. How would you define it, Josh?
Yeah, it was definitely strange. I think she was a sweet person, but it was a little odd.
Did you eat any of them?
No, I didn't know what would be in
think.
there.
You know, because I knew a couple who were kind of overly sexual. I'm trying to find a term.
They're like obsessive with each other?
Yes, and it was, she would, when the dude was going out of town for the weekend, she would give him a pair of her damn panties. I just wore these, don't forget about me. It was just kind of odd. It was almost stalkerish type stuff, you know what I mean? Even though they were a, what's the word I'm looking for, a serious couple.
Yeah, I get scared about those kind of relationships because if they end, what's going to happen if it ends? One of you is not going to make it out alive.
Well, there's that, I suppose. But just if it, I guess where I thought you were going with that was if it ends and it ends badly, then your significant other can turn all that against you. Do you know what this sumbitch used to do when I'd go away for the weekend? He'd give me a D-pick or you know what I'm saying? You could have that used against you and people would go, oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
In high school, there was 2 girls that got called to the principal's office. Apparently they had somehow gotten the number of Lou Diamond Phillips and had a huge crush on him, 80s heartthrob, right? And they called him so much that the school got involved and had to get the parents over there and tell them to knock it off.
No way.
I remember I saw them make the call. There was a payphone in our lunchroom, and I saw them make the call once.
And
I thought they were full of it.
Lou Diamond Phillips, of course, if you're unaware, I mean, that's Chavez E. Chavez from the Young Guns documentaries.
Well, La Bamba, he was like, one of the 80s heartthrobs.
La Bamba, never saw it.
Oh, it's great.
But I love the Young Guns documentaries.
Guns, of course.
And so I will forever worship Lou Diamond Phillips and anybody from that cast. But they got his number. He got so burned out on the phone calls, he somehow found out where they were coming from.
Yeah, they figured out where it came from. I don't know if they might even have said, these girls might even said, hey, we're in Minnesota, we're your biggest fans, that kind of thing. But I knew they were super fans, and they claimed they had this number, and of course nobody believed them, and then all of a sudden it became a thing. Ashley, I could see you doing that.
Yeah, definitely. If I ever got a hold of anybody that I really loved, especially when I was younger, their phone number. Oh, well, I guess I did do that in elementary school. It wasn't a heartthrob, but I wouldn't stop calling this boy. I think I called him at least 10 times every day for a while.
A kid from your school.
Yeah, to the point where his mom was she answered one and I was like, again, Ashley, stop calling so much.
Oh no, that's
tough. Okay.
You were a little kid.
Yeah.
How old?
Very little. Oh, probably first grade, second grade.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. That couple I was telling you about, they were just it was just too much. And they kind of bragged about it, She would gift him something filthy and sexual. He would gift her something filthy and sexual. And it was just kind of...
Any examples you can
Well, yeah, I used... One example was, I believe she would give him a pair of her used underwear for him to take with him for the weekend. It was...
Gross.
What? I guess I meant more what he would give her.
I don't remember that side of things.
The same thing. Dirty underwear.
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be something?
Now, these aren't mine, but these are dirty. Take them.
But I do remember a guy from my high school who gifted a girlfriend. He gifted his girlfriend a bottle of his...
No way.
Nuh-uh, dude.
Are you serious? That's a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's not a joke.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this the guy that ended up locked up somewhere?
No. This was his girlfriend. This was... She accepted it happily.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Right. I mean, I understand, in the moment, straight from the tap, accepting it happily, but having it delivered.
Yes, here it is. Here's what you enjoy so much in a Mountain Dew bottle. There you go.
Jesus.
There you go. Have a good weekend.
And then she put it in a charm and made a necklace out of it.
That was my first thought. Horrible. I don't know why that was my first thought.
That seems like
too.
something Angelina Jolie would do.
Absolutely.
Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
How do you even do that? Okay. This will be the first of back-to-back stories about pranks for you here in the Stupid News Report.
I love a good prank.
Pranksters.
Even when it's perpetrated upon you.
Yeah, I can appreciate a good one.
There's one that, Ashley, everybody loves a good prank, but trust me, we're going to go from funny to brutal, and you might not have that same statement. But then again, you said you love a good prank.
Yeah.
There are good and bad. Starting with a town called Moore, Oklahoma. Last week, the local cops started fielding phone calls about sex toys being seen all over town. And the toys were all found in high places, up on the tipsy tops of buildings, way the F on top of the town's water tower, and such. The cops, being an intelligent group of people, realized that some dorkbag with a drone was dropping dildos in high places all over town. One big fat dildo was placed perfectly on top of a stoplight in town. Drivers couldn't help but see it there while they're waiting for the light to turn green. That's very clever by the drone pilot, if you ask me.
It's got to be a lot of skill, too.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I've never tried to fly a drone. Maybe it does take some getting used to.
I've seen a drone crash into the Myth nightclub.
Oh,
I've seen
really?
that before.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were there.
too.
You saw it.
Yeah, and then the operator cried because it was up there for a while.
And wasn't it a Millennium Falcon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, he cried.
I think I remember this dude was showing us how skilled he was with his drone at the Myth in Maplewood. We were in the parking lot for some kind of a party. And he drove it, flew it up way up over the building, and then it failed, and it landed on top of the building, and that was the end of that.
Now, didn't he? I thought he had lent it to someone else or allowed somebody else to do it. Yeah, somebody else crashed it.
And then a grown man cried.
It was a little kid that crashed it, and he was mad at the little kid, and it's like, dude, you can't be mad at the kid.
Oh, man.
No. I can't believe he cried.
I got this brand new Millennium Falcon drone, guys. Check it out.
Yay, I'm 35. Yay.
Crash. Oh, that would suck, though, wouldn't it?
Well, city workers cleaned up all the dildos here and there in Moore, Oklahoma. Social media dorks seem to like this bit. One person on the What's Up Moore Facebook page. Do we have a What's Up? Do you guys have a What's Up Egan Facebook page?
I'm not on Facebook. Maybe we do.
I'm sure there's something similar, yeah.
One person on the What's Up Moore Facebook page said, "Whoever did this, I want to be best friends with you." The police are investigating, though, and they might even throw some charges or fines at the drone pilot. They do not condone the actions of this individual, the local cops. They find the prank inappropriate.
That's just what they have to say to the public.
Right,
They
yeah.
find the prank hilarious.
They do.
Inappropriate, like when you put your seed in a Mountain Dew bottle and hand it to your high school girlfriend.
Here you go.
That is disturbing.
But we go from a good time.
Worst Secret Santa gift ever.
But we go from a good prank to, I mean, this is the kind of thing that's difficult for me to talk about because I just get furious. You folks already know how much I hate all that social media crap. Especially the types out there who go as far as to bother people. More than just bother people. Just to get someone to pay attention to them online. The ones who destroy property, straight up assault people, and on from there. Drives me crazy. One of these low-life puke bags was arrested in Belgium a couple weeks ago for dumping buckets of feces onto strangers on a subway train just so someone might like him on YouTube.
It's not a prank, that's assault.
Yep.
That's the way the cops are looking at it.
You know, what makes it worse is he did it to people who weren't looking. He went up from behind him and then immediately ran off the subway.
Ran away. like a man.
Yeah.
Super brave.
Yeah.
The video just sends my blood pressure through the roof. I'm happy to say that he's been arrested and charged with assault and battery, damage to property, using violence, okay, and property damage. What's the difference between damage to property and property damage? Who cares? The cops arrested him.
Maybe they get paid per word in the story or something.
It could be. The cops have arrested him, and, well, he confessed to police, so I'm sure he did. He wants people to know who did it because he thinks this is going to be his springboard to fame on social media. It wasn't just dog feces that he had in this massive bucket that he dumped on strangers just trying to mind their business and go about their friggin' lives on the subway train. There was turds in there, oil, beer, paint.
Oh.
Since his arrest, this friggin' plug has been identified. I'm not going to give him what he wants. I'm not going to say his name. I know to some of you I sound like the least cool old man in town when I talk like this, but I can't hold back. I'm sickened by this type of thing. I can't even put it into words. Sorry I blew up.
I don't, like this kind of thing, I don't see how it's funny. You know, like pranks, maybe there's a mean prank and you can kind of see the humor in it.
Right.
I mean, if this was a bunch of buddies and everyone's in on it, like, yeah, you get me however you want, I'm going to get you worse, that kind of thing. But these folks are just trying to get to work or wherever they're headed. And like I said, the fact that he sneaks up on someone and then runs off immediately, come on, dude.
I watched the new Ted series on Peacock, which is a prequel series to the movies that Seth MacFarlane made about the foul-talking teddy bear that's set in 1993. And Ted and Johnny, they like to egg kids on Halloween, throw eggs at them, you know, taunt their costumes, make fun of them, and then Ted accidentally gets egged himself, and he goes, "This is what that's like? Why do we do this to people? This is awful."
I watched the first episode. There are some laugh-out-loud moments. I grabbed a clip that I thought was pretty funny. So one of the characters is selling drugs to pay for school, right?
Yep.
And so this happens.
Why in God's name are you dealing drugs at all?
We're using the money to help pay for tuition.
Well, you can't work at McDonald's?
It's $15K a year, Maddie. I'd have to sell myself at McDonald's.
Oh, you could call it fillet of flesh. Is that something? Egg McFucking a quarter to pound her? Should I stop? I feel like there's no traction here.
I finished it in one day.
Which program is this?
Ted, the TV series.
It's
Ted,
so
the
good.
On
TV
Peacock.
series. Oh.
Yeah, the first episode was good. That's how far I got. You watched the whole thing?
Yeah, it's so incredible. It never gets too old. Never gets boring.
All right. All of us drive motor vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ever hit a pothole so hard in your vehicle that it shakes you from the top of your head right down to the soles of your feet and then halfway back up to your damn nutsack?
Absolutely.
It's the worst feeling.
You just instantly think you destroyed your rim.
I'll instantly instantly try to like find that thing on your car where it tells you how much air you have in your tires. I'm like, oh gosh, please be in the 30s. Please be in the 30s.
Wample, I hit one a couple years ago where I literally, my reaction, I went, oh!
Yeah, I hit one with my girlfriend's car, and I'm like, oh, my
no.
I had one where some brain fluid came out my nostril.
I screamed out in horror because I was convinced that I was about to die. That's how frightening it was. I was just, Cubby knows me. The most relaxed I ever am is behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. I'm probably too relaxed. I completely space out. I daydream about things that I am, and I hit this sumbitch, and I screamed out in horror. Anyway, there's no denying that feeling. You remember it for years. Word is from India that a few days ago, an ambulance hit a pothole so freaking hard that it brought an old-timer back from the damn dead. That's the story they're sticking with over there. The town is called Chandigarh in India, and I guess they're known to have potholes over there the size of your mother's ass. The story says that an old fella by the name of Darshan, he checked out. He wasn't feeling too good for a few days. He went to the neighborhood hospital, and he died. He was 80 years old. He was declared dead by doctors. An ambulance was in charge of hauling his carcass back to his family's house. After he checked out, relatives were hanging out there. Food had been laid out for a celebration of life for Darshan. They had gathered wood for the cremation. Ain't that something? Hey, if he brought some food, put it over on that table. If he brought firewood for when we burn the dead body, put that over on that table. But on the way to the gathering, the ambulance hit a pothole. And I mean, they hit it hard. Darshan's grandson, who was with them in the ambulance, noticed that Darshan started moving his hand after they smoked that pothole, and the next thing you know, Grandpa had a heartbeat. The grandson gave the paramedics a heads up on all this. They drove to the nearest hospital, and doctors there declared him alive again.
I bet the public works department's like, nice.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Why don't you complain about the potholes just one more time, and then tell it to that person's family.
And right now, Darshan is being treated at a hospital. From what the story says, he ain't in great shape, but he's alive. Darshan's family believe that a miracle has happened.
Remember when Domino's was paying to pave roads?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I do not remember anything of what you just said. What
Pornhub
happened?
did that too.
Domino's
did,
and
yeah.
Pornhub were doing what?
They paid to fill potholes around town.
Why did they do that? Just to get their name out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube's known for, or not YouTube, Pornhub's known for filling holes. And so they decided just to go ahead. Remember several years ago, they plowed streets too? And they had, on the plows, they had their logo on the plow.
Yep. I do remember that.
Domino's is even plowing roads now. They're plowing roads in towns that don't have, like, it's like one road in and out of the town.
Oh, are they?
So they don't plow it. Yeah, they'll plow it now.
One road in and out of town, like
Hutchinson?
Aiken. Well, I didn't hear any of these stories. It's very nice of them, and of course they get what they want. They get exposure and this and that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
People get to go buy pizza.
Yeah, right. The pizza guy can get to your house.
Mm-hmm.
IT miracle worker Jesus hit a pothole in his work parking lot. His exhaust pipe broke free, and his van now looks like it's dragging its D in the dirt everywhere he goes.
Oh, it sucks.
And that's going to be a great sound around town when you're driving.
If you hit one at night that you didn't see, and it scares the crap out of you.
Yep.
My heart fell out my beehole once. I was so scared.
I hate those ones that it looks like it's totally fine, but because it's raining, then all of a sudden you
Filled with
drive
water.
through it and it's just huge.
Yeah, it's not a puddle.
Yeah.
By the
The
way,
Sarlacc pit.
the story of the old man coming back alive in an ambulance due to hitting a pothole. Got a text message from Medical Chicken Lady Sheezes. She says, I'm an EMT and I'm going to call BS on a lot of factors of that story. None of this makes sense. You're not the only one, Medical Chicken Lady Sheezes. Yes, we are not completely naive to the possibilities of that story being absolute nonsense. My guess is the sumbitch was never dead.
Yeah, it just woke him up.
He was never dead. They screwed up when they declared him dead in the first place. Okay, speaking of driving, then we'll get the hell out of here. Have any of you ever had any issues with that Google Maps setup? You ever found yourself driving and you followed Google Maps straight into a holding pond or into an elementary school playground or anything like that?
Not that bad, but just last week, Google Maps did me dirty something bad.
Did they tear the roof out of your house? And
Nothing like that.
What happened? How did Google Maps do you dirty?
Well, it had the stupidest way to get there, so luckily I had an idea where to go. But it was saying the place was on the wrong side of the street. It was so bad that I thought I must have put in the wrong address, but I didn't. It was just totally messed up.
Didn't you have a mistake when you were going to Ashley's wedding, too?
Oh, yeah. That was, I don't remember if that was Google or Apple Maps, but it took us like into a completely, somebody else, too.
Yeah, it was.
You guys were almost late for the wedding, too.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was, it was because some people were using Apple Maps and some people were using Google Maps. And I can't remember what one it was, but one of them led you to the wrong place.
Yeah, because we didn't realize we were behind somebody that was going to your wedding, but they turned around at the same place we did, and we realized, okay, that must be
That's funny.
We went through the same thing we did.
Didn't
let's
bother
follow
me.
them.
I was at the time when we couldn't find Ashley's wedding, I was sitting in the back seat with Janelle, so I didn't care if it took us all day to get there. All right,
You're praying for potholes.
Yeah. Things were going all kittywampus in Scotland. In a town called Edinburgh, Google Maps was directing drivers down a set of damn stairs. That's ridiculous. 2 cars got stuck on the same set of stairs in their damn motor vehicles. Boy, would I be embarrassed by that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a person that will follow instruction, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like around a turn and then another turn, so you really didn't see what was going on?
Oh, I don't know, Wapple. I'll just tell you what I have in front of me. A few weeks ago, one of the vehicles got stuck at around 8:30 p.m. and had to wait until morning to get the car yanked on out of there. I think the vehicles were just bottom smooth out on the angle of the stairs, and there was no way to get them out because the tires were off the ground.
Yeah.
Dental Babe Sheeza said she had someone drive to her house and texted and said, "Hey, I'm in the middle of a cornfield. Do you live here?" She wasn't kidding.
The verbiage here is wonky because it's from silly-ass Scotland, but it sounds like this set of stairs used to be a road.
Oh.
But now it's been turned into a set of stairs, and Google Maps isn't quite up to date with what the hell's going on over there just yet. The second vehicle that got hung out to dry on a stairway, or on that particular stairway, was a taxi. I'm not paying for that ride. A spokesperson for Google said the error has since been fixed.
We have something like that.
That's good.
Not to that much drama, but something like that in our neighborhood. There was a street that used to be there, but then they put in a new development, and it's kind of like it's a park now.
Oh, okay.
And so we've had people call and say, "I have no idea how to get to your house. The street that is supposed to be here is not here."
It does not exist anymore.
That's a lot of fun right there.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Gentlemen, it's that time of the year again. Time to buy that woman you love a special piece of jewelry that's back again this year. It's the Dak Prescott Choker. No one knows choking like Dak.
Here's Prescott over the middle. It's going to be picked off.
Yes, it's a time that comes around every year. So celebrate by giving her the Dak Prescott Choker.
Only available for a limited time until next playoff season.
Yeah, he has a little trouble come playoff time, that Dak Prescott and his Dallas Cowboys.
He's getting a bit of a reputation for that.
He has. By damn, he has. Yesterday's NFL playoff scores, Buffalo 31, Pittsburgh 37. That doesn't make any sense. Buffalo 31, Pittsburgh 17. Why didn't they just play the game when it was scheduled to be played? The weather wasn't that bad. We're a bunch of sissies out there.
I want a snowstorm like that.
That would have been incredible to watch in person. Tampa Bay beat Philadelphia. Wow, the Eagles just became just a bunch of bums in the last 6-8 weeks. They just got... I mean, it's fun to see. It is.
I enjoyed it.
We've seen enough of the Eagles, I think, here lately. Good for Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got the whole schedule set for next weekend. We'll jump on that when Randy Shaver shows up here in about a half hour. The Pigs needed this one. By God, they did. They got a shutout win in front of the home crowd last night. 5-0 over the New York Islanders, and Marc-Andre Fleury finally skipped past Patrick Waugh for second place on the all-time goaltender career wins list. Golden Gopher basketball didn't quite have enough in the tank to keep up with the Iowegians last night at the Barnski. The Hawkeyes won by 9. Randy Shaver's going to be here, like I said, in a half hour, and we'll get everything straightened out. But don't go anywhere, because Cubby's News is coming up next.
Half-Assed Morning Show. They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance. 93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt, joined by Bob Harvia from 60 Songs to Explain the 90s.
There's no freedom rock yet of the 90s.
It's coming, though. From 2010 to 2019. And the top 10 is Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam. So the freedom rock of the 90s is the grunge Mount Rushmore.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
appliances, electronics, clothing, health and beauty products, household goods, home furnishings, food, and over 178 gift cards.
A former school board member in Miami was arrested after she was caught racking up over $100,000 on district-issued credit cards for unauthorized personal purchases like luxury vacations, pricey electronics, and a fake pregnancy belly. It wasn't until 49-year-old Lubby Navarro left the school board that administrators were alerted to suspicious activity. Her cards have strict limitations, which she allegedly ignored over the course of multiple years. She spent about $26,000 at Walmart in 2022, more than $9,000 at Staples, over $5,000 at Home Depot, and nearly $4,000 at Apple. She also made other purchases at common retail locations, too. She spent thousands of dollars on Visa gift cards and gift cards for other stores and restaurants like Nordstrom, Bloomingdale, Starbucks, Outback Steakhouse, and the Cheesecake Factory, to name a few.
Pretty good gig if you can get it, huh?
Yeah, some perks there that she wasn't supposed to take. By the way, she made over $200,000, so she screwed that one up.
Wow, she's got a damn good gig.
She had a great gig, and she still did this. She also bought 2 artificial silicone pregnancy bellies.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Interesting.
She used them to try and convince her ex-boyfriend's mother she was pregnant in hopes of getting him back. The ex-boyfriend detailed several instances of harassing and possessive behavior, including installing AirTags in his car to track his location. Those AirTags bought with those stolen credit cards.
Oh, no.
Navarro spent over $9,000 in travel expenses, including trips to Disney, Vegas, and the Dominican. She had her first appearance in court Thursday and faces a minimum of 3 years or a maximum of 55.
Whoa, that's a big gap.
That is quite the range.
Show you a bit. This gal, I love that. She bought fake pregnancy bellies to try to get her ex-boyfriend back. This one's squirrely right here, Josh.
Yeah, and she went through the mom even, hoping mom would guilt him into getting back together. You got to do the right thing.
Don't do that.
Little squirrely.
A Good Samaritan in Westchester County, New York, clotheslined a suspected porch pirate as he fled from law enforcement before being tackled to the ground earlier this month. In an encounter caught on camera, 27-year-old Francisco Mateo was knocked to the ground by a city worker who got out of his vehicle as the suspected thief attempted to run past him. The foot pursuit began about 2:30 p.m. January 3rd when Mateo was caught on doorbell video stealing a couple packages. Yonkers police released body cam video of an officer asking him to stop before the alleged thief bolted. But he didn't make it far because a public works employee made a tackle with officers right behind. A police officer quickly apprehended Mateo as the Good Samaritan helped pin him down. Police wrote in a press release, "This video shows what happens when everyone works together seamlessly to stop crime." Then in Arkansas, a group of teens are being praised after catching alleged porch pirates stealing packages from a home. Ring camera footage showed 2 boys keeping their eye on packages being delivered to a house. When the coast was clear, they grabbed 2 boxes and fled.
I noticed 2 kids were walking down the road, and then I glanced back a few minutes later and saw the same kids running down the road, and it just looked a little bit suspicious. So I said, I think those kids just stole packages.
But a group of teens saw the alleged thieves and decided to chase after them. The teens counseled the boys as they escorted them back home and advised them to stay out of trouble.
Larry was asking me, hey, you want to go get him? I dropped the Wii remote right there and said, let's go get him.
And we both started sprinting down the street.
We decided to walk them back to the house they stole from with the packages, made them knock on the door and tell them what they did, and they got a lecture.
There's hope for humanity. These young people stepped in and did the right thing.
The young people.
Hope those kids, a lot of times kids think teenagers are the coolest, right? They're the right age, so maybe they'll influence them to make better decisions.
I still think teenagers are the coolest.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, they terrify me.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
They can be very scary.
Mm-hmm.
If I see them walking down the street, I'll cross the street nonchalantly, that kind of thing.
I always feel like they're judging me.
They are.
Yeah, I know.
In a monumentally moronic scheme, a woman admitted she plotted to submit dog urine she collected in an attempt to cheat a court-ordered drug screening. According to investigators, 42-year-old Jessica Beatty was subject to random testing as a stipulation of release terms related to a December 28th arrest for possession of drug paraphernalia and driving on a suspended license. The Clearwater, Florida resident has a lengthy rap sheet with numerous cocaine convictions and related jail terms. Free on her own recognizance following last month's arrest, she had an appointment last Thursday to pee in a cup at the county probation unit. The test is designed to detect the presence of chemical substances or controlled substances, police said. She apparently was concerned her urine would turn up dirty, with such a finding likely resulting in a bond revocation and her immediate jailing. So she showed up with a fraudulent urine sample. When confronted about the phony sample, she reportedly admitted she collected urine from her aunt's dog, which she intended to provide during testing. She was arrested and charged with urine testing fraudulent practice.
Yeah, see, she's doing that all wrong. She's got to do what a guy I used to work with used to do. He'd just wring out his baby's diaper.
Oh, I saw that on a TV show.
So gross.
First, he asked all of us at work if we would borrow them some of our urine. And when we said no, he said, well, I guess I can just go back to the baby's diaper bit, I guess.
Oh. I love picturing this lady trying to collect the dog urine.
Same here.
You think that'd be a little bit of a messy gig?
It sure could be.
Yeah. And just as silly looking. And the dog will look at you as if he's saying, what the hell's the game here?
In other urine-related news, welcome to the world of pee cycling, where urine is not considered waste, but liquid gold. The Rich Earth Institute in Vermont collects, pasteurizes, and distributes recycled human urine as fertilizer to return precious nutrients and minerals to the soil, something they're working on. A Maryland man was arrested after he allegedly shot his roommate during an argument about a remote control last week, but admitted he only called 911 after going back to sleep, buying some marijuana, and communicating with people who implored him to contact authorities.
We've had disagreements, but it's never gone that far. I can't imagine that anything would be that serious.
38-year-old Richard Benna was called police around 6 hours after the shooting, which happened between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. Thursday. He reportedly told him his roommate had come at him with knives. Benna recounted to police he fell asleep on the couch and was woken up by the victim, 27-year-old Dominique Hayes, making a lot of noise in the kitchen. Hayes then reportedly asked Benna where the remote was, but the suspect ignored him. He had a blanket on his head. He removed that blanket and allegedly saw Hayes holding two knives. Hayes backed off at first, but then said Benna wouldn't shoot. There's only one way to find out, he allegedly said, pointing the gun and opening fire. Benna then grabbed his handgun and went to his room. He claimed he didn't see Hayes was injured, so he assumed none of the bullets hit him. Then he bought some weed and went back to sleep.
Freaking stoners, man.
Prosecutors have declined to pursue a felony case against a doctor arrested for striking her ex-husband with a handful of wet bread. Apparently she had grabbed some bread slices and soaked them with water before throwing them at the 70-year-old. 58-year-old Heather Neely was arrested last month following an altercation inside their St. Petersburg, Florida residence. Neely, a licensed psychiatrist, looks like she could use some of her own help, was arguing with the victim when she grabbed a handful of bread from a loaf. She wet the bread at the kitchen sink and then hit him with the soggy slices. When deputies arrived, they saw the man with the front of his shirt wet and several pieces of bread stuck to him. Neely and the man had actually divorced about 8 years ago, but they lived together in the home.
One of those deals. I've always been really fascinated by that setup.
I'd never be able to do that.
Sometimes some folks have to.
Well, in this case, she bought the home, so she owned it, but he just ended up staying with her, I guess.
That sounds like an interesting setup. But I've never considered using... I mean, we used to dough-ball cars when we were kids. You following what I'm saying here?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
You don't follow what I'm saying?
No, you just had made a bunch of dough?
Yeah. They'd stick to the side of the car when you'd throw them.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of fun. But I've never considered using wet bread as a weapon. Probably even sting a little bit if you throw it hard enough, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's multigrain. It's got those little seeds in there.
Oh, yeah. If it's multigrain.
I mean, you could hit me with Wonder Bread all day long. I can take that. Mm-hmm. A Nebraska man driving a skid loader Sunday damaged several vehicles in a southeast Lincoln parking lot.
I don't know what makes someone do something like that. I guess Nebraska's the new Florida. I'm going to start seeing Nebraska man headlines everywhere.
Take it easy.
He's a laugh talker. Around 2:30 p.m. Officers found the 36-year-old driving a skid loader and damaging vehicles in a parking lot.
A laugh talker.
He then went to Home Depot and rammed the skid loader into a police cruiser. Luckily, though, this guy was there with all the answers.
The only thing going through my head is someone's got to stop this. Like, there is a Home Depot full of contractors, big burly dudes twice my size. Like, come on now, y'all. Exposed hydraulic lines. Go get a bolt cutter from aisle 5. I shouldn't be the one that's having to do it. You know what? Screw it.
After the cop's vehicle was hit, the officer got out and took the man into custody.
The cops finally, got him out of the Mini, got him on the ground. They were dogpiling on him. I'm happy I made it home safe at the end of the day.
Police said multiple vehicles were damaged and a man inside a truck had minor injuries. The suspect also damaged two nearby businesses with the skid loader, which was owned by the man's employer.
Boy, that dude's been waiting for the local news to put a mic in his face since the day he was born.
Oh, yeah. You almost wonder if, he gave out his TikTok handle or something like that at the end of that. A bout of online bravado sealed an Alabama man's fate after taunting the cops online. I love this kind of stuff. Doesn't work. According to a statement from the Florence, Alabama Police Department, Titus Knight was tearing down a county road on his motorcycle Wednesday when he was spotted by an officer driving a police Tahoe. Once police lights started blaring, Knight accelerated and hit speeds of more than 100 miles an hour on his motorcycle as he rode through a construction zone to evade officers in pursuit. The Florence officer made a decision to terminate the pursuit due to the combination of high speeds and the amount of traffic present. But that wasn't the end of the story. Detectives used social media as well as footage from the area traffic cameras to comb through videos or photos they thought could help them identify the motorcyclist, and it didn't take long. It turns out the person who eluded Florence police made a Snapchat with the caption, "Your Tahoe needs a tune-up, buddy," and even tagged the police department in his post from his social media account.
This guy's funny.
Making things even easier for police, they said Knight's Snapchat handle was also an inmate number previously assigned to him from a prior offense. He now faces a felony charge for attempting to elude police as well as several traffic citations.
Yeah, that's fun.
Humorous and quirky messages on electronic signs will soon disappear from highways and freeways across the country. The killjoys at the U.S. Federal Highway Administration gave states 2 years to implement all the changes outlined in its new 1,100-page manual released last month.
1,100?
Including rules that spell out how signs and other traffic control devices are regulated. Administration officials said overhead electronic signs with obscure meanings, references to pop culture, or those intended to be funny will be banned in 2026 because they can be misunderstood or distracting to drivers. The agency, which is part of the U.S. Department of Transportation, said signs should be simple, direct, brief, legible, and clear, and only be used for important information such as warning drivers of crashes ahead, adverse weather conditions, or traffic delays. Seatbelt reminders and warnings about the dangers of speeding or driving impaired are still allowed. Among those that will be disappearing are messages such as visiting in-laws, slow down, get there late from Ohio. Don't drive star-spangled hammered from Pennsylvania. Can't do that one anymore. Hocus pocus, drive with focus from New Jersey. And hands on the wheel, not your meal from Arizona, all now banned.
Good. It's about time.
Oh, I like it. They're very creative around here.
That bums me out.
No, I'm overdosing on puns.
You are?
Yep.
Some people just like to kill fun.
Seriously.
I'm a fun killer.
I know.
And I'm a laugh talker.
You're not a laugh talker.
Yes, I am.
You are not.
I can be a laugh talker if I want to be a laugh talker.
I hate that.
What?
You are a good laugh talker. That was good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until today how much I hate when people do that.
I shoot pool with a guy who talks like that. He's always laughing when he talks.
Is it nerves, you think?
It's gotta be, right?
I'll tell you
or
what
is he just a guy with plenty of whimsy?
It's weed.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
I didn't even consider that.
I hang out with a laugh talker. We have a great time.
The series premiere of Death and Other Details debuts today on Hulu. Mandy Patinkin plays a brilliant detective trying to solve a murder aboard a cruise ship. On FX, the 5th season finale of Fargo. The 1st season finale of Found airs tonight on NBC. Over on Netflix, the stand-up special Dusty Slay, Workin' Man is streaming now. Then Jimmy Fallon's guests tonight are Sofia Vergara and Bush. Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda is 44. Albert Pujols turns 44 as well. Director John Carpenter, 76. Happy belated birthday to Layla, who turned the big 09 on Sunday from Dad. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Stafford, what'd I say? You owe me this favor, bro. I was there for you when you won it. I was right there. I rapped for you, Stafford. Bro, I rapped for you. Can you just let us have this one? Just this one.
But it's caught by St. Brown for a first down. Detroit, for the first time in 32 years, your Lions have won a playoff game.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, first down. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. Jared Goff delivers against his former team. Now all they have to do is take a knee 3 times, and this game will be over.
Dude, how electric was it out there? I'm telling you what, it doesn't get any better. It's everything you dream of and then more. Okay, I'll just say it like this. All right? Hey, you're good enough, Detroit, Jay.
This is just the beginning, boys. This is just the beginning. We got 3 more of these next week at home, at our place, against whoever the f*** to come in here. Let's go. Win all 3, 1, 2, 3, win!
There were no survivors in Detroit after that Lions win. No survivors, Randy Shaver. Good morning,
should
son.
Not be. And I'll tell you what a fun night that was to watch that game.
That was, you're right.
What we're watching right now with the Packers and the Lions, that is the future of the NFC North, and the Vikings are being left behind.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
They're not in the future plans for the NFC North?
When you add Chicago and whatever they end up doing with the first pick in the draft and all the things that they have going on, if you're a Vikings fan, you have to be somewhat concerned because you are resting your future on a 37-year-old quarterback that may or may not come back.
Captain Deathrocks is 37 years old?
Yeah.
I thought he was way younger than that.
Well, I didn't think way, but I didn't think 37.
I think he's 37.
35.
Okay, 35.
Well, with the Achilles, now he's more like 37.
Yep.
All right, well, that's too bad that the Vikings aren't in the future plans for the NFC North.
I know you ran some Detroit sound there, but I thought the Packers game was even more impressive. Not that the Dallas Cowboys, I thought, were going to win the game because they do this every freaking year.
You knew they were going to take a deuce.
You knew it was going to happen regardless of who they're playing and regardless of how well the Cowboys are playing heading into that game. They're going to blow it, and they did. But I thought Green Bay's effort, both offensively and defensively, not to take anything away from the Lions, but I thought that was more impressive in just the way they completely manhandled a 2 seed in the Dallas Cowboys. It was amazing.
Jordan loves a stud.
It's the first time a 7 seed has ever won in the first round of the NFL play.
Well, but how long have we been effing with 7 seeds?
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying that's the kind of upset that it turned out to be.
Cubby, you like that Jordan love?
Yeah, I do. This, it's like you had said, I think, a couple weeks ago. It's different. You don't mind cheering for the Packers now. I don't know what's different. Something just feels different.
Yeah, there's something different about that ball club as opposed to the last few years. It's just fun to have the Packers mean absolutely nothing to me.
Just indifferent.
I couldn't care less if they get beaten by 10 touchdowns in the next game. I couldn't care less if they win this year's Super Bowl. It's just it's such a liberating.
So now that
if that's the word I'm coming up with, go ahead, Randy.
So now that we have our Final Four set, who do you like?
Final Four in the NFC?
Yep, either one.
Well, here's the thing. Let's slow down a minute. I just want to say, wonderful to see what happened in Detroit the other night.
Yes.
It's just too bad that Baker Mayfield and my Tampa Bay Buccaneers got to step in and kick them right in the nuts.
It's not going to happen.
On Sunday afternoon and ruin their dream. That's what my guy Baker Mayfield and my Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to do on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're going to ruin that 89-year-old guy's year that they kept showing on television.
He looks pretty happy.
I think it's the best scenario possible for the Lions.
Let's go Buccaneers.
I think Tampa Bay faced a Philadelphia team in complete crisis. They were 10-1. They kind of reminded me a little bit of the Vikings last year. who won all those games. Everybody was so excited. And then near the end of the year, you could kind of see, oh boy, this is not really a whatever team.
Right.
That's what the Eagles reminded me of. So I think Tampa winning last night, not a surprise to me with the way Philadelphia has been playing. But Detroit in that environment, totally different animal. I just think that it's the best scenario for Detroit.
All right, here's the deal. Let's just review.
And imagine if the Packers, who are very capable of upsetting the 49ers, if they were to do that, the championship game of the NFC would be in Detroit between the Packers and the Lions.
The Packers aren't going to beat the 49ers.
Yeah, well, how many people thought that the Cowboys would lose as badly as they did?
Oh, everybody thought they would lose that badly.
Yeah, I mean, we are cynical in
They're
that
garbage.
respect, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who thought, oh, wait, no way the Cowboys are going to lose that game.
There's no way the Packers beat the 49ers, but here's the good news. I don't care. Don't really care. Let's review whatever we missed so far with all those predetermined NFL playoff games from Saturday and Sunday. We didn't talk. Well, Houston kind of got the better of Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Kansas City
Flacco
beat...
just...
Pardon me?
I said Flacco just had a struggle after the first drive.
Yeah.
I mean, they made some adjustments. And, yeah.
He didn't have his best game.
And
Kansas City beat Miami in that cold-ass outdoor game.
Yeah.
You mentioned Green Bay and Dallas, Detroit and the L.A. Rams yesterday. Oh, Buffalo defeated Pittsburgh.
Story of that game is before the game even starts, people trying to shovel their way into a seat. The NFL, I can't believe that the NFL did not come down on Buffalo and say to them, what happens if a fan has a heart attack shoveling out the snow so he can sit down to watch a game?
Yeah, I was wondering how they were able to do that.
Actually, I'm shocked that the NFL did not come down on Buffalo and say, you need to get those stands.
That's how they always do it.
Yeah, other teams do it too. The Packers have done it. We've done it at TCF Bank Stadium.
Yeah, but they would hire people prior to clear it out.
No,
right?
fans get paid. In other states too, in Green Bay and here at TCF Bank Stadium one time.
I know that, but I'm saying prior to the game. This was happening minutes before the game started. People were shoveling out seats to sit down. I've never seen that before.
It's crazy.
And they gave them an extra day.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand what could have been done differently.
Well, what you do, supposedly, in the past, what they've done is that they allow people to come in prior to the game and clear out the stands.
Okay.
But they didn't do that.
The snow came Sunday into Monday, though.
I understand, but...
Well, nobody died, as far as I know. I don't think they're handing shovels to 85-year-old men with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth,
I would hope not.
Some of those guys look like they hadn't had any physical exercise in a while.
Yeah,
like the dude with the shirt off.
And a lot of them look pretty drunk, too.
I didn't see any of this. I didn't see any of this, but I've heard for many years that's the way they do it. A fan shows up and they give them $20 to start shuffling. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a few guys have dropped dead. I don't know.
It looked like a blast, though. It looked like they were having a lot of fun.
So, I'll tell you what. It was impossible to play that game on. When were they originally scheduled to play?
Sunday at noon.
Sunday at noon, yeah.
But I saw the footage of the way the wind and the snow. It was just people were making comparisons, Josh, to Hoth. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Hoth from Star Wars. Mm-hmm. They were making references to dead tauntauns. Again, I hope I'm saying this right. Star Wars references.
Did you see them walking through the parking lot? I mean,
no.
like waist deep snow, but they were still jumping through flaming tables. They weren't going to give that up.
I understand why they didn't play that game, but at the same time, wouldn't it have been something to see them try to play football in that? It would have been impossible to see what was happening, but just in case you could have gotten a glimpse or two, I say you play the game no matter what the weather has dealt you.
Isn't it more the safety of like emergency vehicles?
Yes.
That's what I've heard people talk about before.
Yes.
It's not necessarily the field conditions.
It's not to take away resources from people that may really need it, as opposed to people that were at that game.
Right. Cops got to be able to get to and from ambulances, this and that, so they just say no one's going anywhere. So we know who's playing who in the next round of the playoff.
Yep.
Saturday, Houston at Baltimore, Green Bay at San Francisco. We've talked a hell of a lot about a few of these teams. We haven't said too much about Houston and Baltimore. And you ask me who I think, Randy, I don't follow this stuff close enough anymore to really make a prediction, other than Tampa Bay will beat the Lions on Sunday and crush those bastards' dreams.
Why do you want that to happen?
I'm just trying to have some fun. I'm just trying to have some fun. I'm a heel, Randy.
But you don't think the Lions in the Super Bowl wouldn't be fun? Oh my God,
Randy, those Lions fans in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. Let's go.
The best. Don't ever say "let's go" again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The best case scenario. The best case scenario is gone, and that would have been Lions Browns. So now that the Browns are gone, I'm a wrestling fan. I turn heel out of nowhere. They said, "Let me have my fun, Randy." Of
Why
course,
can't
it would
the
be.
Lions be the heel, though? I mean, they're not even. Everybody thinks the 49ers will end up winning that NFC title. Why couldn't the Lions be the heel in that?
Randy, that's fine. If the Lions go to the Super Bowl and win it, that's fine. I'm just trying to add a little spice to the playoffs here.
I understand.
Just having a little fun. I'm turning heel on the Lions.
You don't think Buffalo, Detroit wouldn't be a fun Super Bowl?
Buffalo and Detroit.
One of those teams could win their first ever Super Bowl?
Sure. Randy, just relax, for God's sake. I'm like when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty.
We just passed the anniversary of that not too long ago.
And everyone said, what's this guy's problem? That's all I'm doing here. I don't really care what happens from here on out, so I'm picking a new team to jump on their back. Josh bought me a beautiful Baker Mayfield Buccaneers jersey. Now I got a reason to wear it around town.
I can't wait to see you in that thing.
I want
and then
that
out of it.
I hope that Tampa Bay at Detroit, Kansas City at Buffalo. Oh, again, another playoff game with Kansas City and Buffalo. We can all just touch ourselves up and down over Patrick Mahomes and whatever Buffalo's quarterbacks.
That means Taylor Swift will be in Buffalo.
Oh, stop it.
Boy.
Oh, did you see some of the signs? They had some pretty funny signs about that. See you next week, Taylor. I saw a few of those.
I saw people joking about how when Taylor books the fanciest hotel in Buffalo, she's going to be in for a rude surprise. They don't really have fancy hotels in Buffalo.
Someone will build her a mansion between now and Sunday or something. You know what I mean? Something we forgot to mention about the Tampa Bay-Philadelphia game last night. Speaking of wrestling, boy, the Nate was pumped.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
He was pumped. The Nates can jump on board with the Buccaneers. How come I can't?
Nate seems like a lot of teams. Other teams pay him enough money to come hype him up.
Oh, yeah, he pretty much told us that when we had him in studio.
He does not care who it is. He will be their number one fan for an hour or two.
Yes, as long as the check clears.
He's just always on the side of money.
Yep.
Yeah, was it the Wild he turned down for $5,000?
Yeah, he said. So they offered him $5,000. He said, "You can lose my number."
You imagine that $5,000 to go give a pep talk?
Yeah.
Turning that down? Oh, man.
Yeah, and then you get tickets to the game or whatever, too. You just got 5 minutes.
And then us in the radio industry, we go to a bar gig for, $5 and a free ham sandwich.
Discounted ham sandwich.
Yeah, that's true. It comes out of the $5.
I got a question for you about that Kansas City Buffalo playoff game. If Chris Collinsworth is calling that game, does he have enough orgasms left for that ball game?
That's very true.
I don't know if he's calling that game.
Well, I'm just saying, if he is.
God, he's going to be all over Mahomes and Allen.
Yeah, how does he pick?
He better bring a 3-4 extra pair of drawers.
You know
yes,
what,
Randy.
Nick? He's calling the Lions game.
Well, then he'll be okay.
For his own safety, they probably put him on that assignment instead of the Mahomes-Allen thing.
Bucks and Lions.
At his age, if he was calling Kansas City and Buffalo, he might be
Tony
in jeopardy.
will be calling the Buffalo KC game.
All right, fine, fair enough.
The Fox folks will have the Packers and 49ers.
I like this headline. back to my Buccaneers. It says the Buccaneers weren't even supposed to be here. Then they pantsed the Eagles. It says here, low expectations didn't keep a Tampa team out of the playoffs in what looked like a rebuilding year. It didn't keep the Bucs from pointing and laughing at Philadelphia's flaws in a wild card rout, and it may not keep them from ruining the best season the Lions have had in 3 decades. Decades.
I wonder what the Eagles are thinking today about their coaching situation, because it just went south in a hurry.
Well, of course, you know how it plays out these days.
I mean,
you can't fire the players, so you get a new voice.
And I would say that the Steelers, after I watched the post game by Tomlin yesterday, who walked out as soon as somebody mentioned contract.
Mike, you have a year left on your contract.
There you go. See ya. Bye. Yeah, I wonder.
Boy, these guys are high maintenance.
I think we've seen the last of him in Pittsburgh, too.
All right.
Even Mike McCarthy has to kind of watch his
don't you
job,
think?
too. Oh, boy.
Well, I saw a headline here that says it's time for Belichick in Dallas.
Yeah, that's what everyone's
Can you
talking
imagine?
about.
Yeah.
But
And they're
there's
very good friends, supposedly, Jones and Belichick.
There's so many different coaches, like good coaches that are out there for teams to take, too. There's Pete Carroll. You have Jim Harbaugh maybe coming back.
How about that Nick Saban?
The Chargers, they had a great
Nick Saban.
They had a great conversation, the Chargers and Harbaugh.
Yeah. He likes Herbert. Herbert.
They were all wearing khakis when he showed up. Did you see the video?
No, what? Say this again now?
Were they really? Or are you joking?
The San Diego.
I was going to say, wouldn't that be something?
Check these bad boys out. You want to be on this team?
I would have believed that. You were joking that the Harbaugh went to interview with the Chargers and the whole staff was wearing khakis when he showed up.
I could see that happening.
Absolutely could see that happening.
They give him a pair.
Yeah. The little logo on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, speaking of Bill Belichick, I don't know why anybody would put themselves through such misery, but there's a trailer going around for a documentary about the New England Patriots and all the shady success they had while the lunatic was playing there and while Belichick and the lunatic were hanging out together. You going to watch anybody? The Dynasty is the name of the program?
Absolutely not.
I think I'll pass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
February 16th on Apple TV, lowercase t.
That's a plus.
That's a plus, yeah.
And I thought I was old.
What happened there? Did I say something? The film will tell the story of the franchise's historic run of success under Bill Belichick. Interviews with the coach and Luna.
Bashan?
Short for lunatic.
Okay.
Interviews with the owner, Bill, or not his name is Robert. Let me get a quick, dry, handy Kraft. Hey, let me get a quick, dry one before I leave town. Ooh, they're going to talk about Spygate, Deflategate.
In pro football, nobody's entitled to anything. You have to go out there and earn it.
I was pretty intent on proving myself. We were going to determine the future of football in New England.
The Patriots are Super Bowl champions!
First dynasty of the century. This game is like a narcotic. You're chasing that forever.
Breaking news right now.
Spygate. Deflategate.
Aaron couldn't separate himself from that dark side.
That team won enough to become the villain.
We worked for Bill, but we played for Tom.
Bill tore Brady's head completely off.
There's things that are done that can't be undone. I was just trying to hold it together the best I could.
This team will be scrutinized, celebrated for as long as the game of football is played.
I don't know what I'd do with all the
that'll
vomit.
Be my line. For the
Where would I put all the vomit?
93X.
What's your line, Randy?
My line will be, I just tried to pull it all together.
You ain't pulling jacks. We know what you're pulling.
No, that's Brad.
Right, Wapple? That'll be my line.
Yeah.
No way I could make it thugh that.
We already know Brad's line.
What's his?
Brad is...
Oh, yeah. That's true. He's known for that, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Sure long before
Sadly,
Travis...
yes.
Long before Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes had us vomiting all over ourselves, it was Belichick and Brady. So
yeah, that's true.
Not a chance I could make it through that.
How about Kelsey's brother, by the way, announcing or I don't know if he announced it.
He said in the locker room.
He said what?
But he hasn't has he come out and said it publicly?
No.
Not publicly. Supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over social media this morning that Jason Kelce is retiring for the Eagles, but I
don't care.
It seems to be a little bit of hearsay at this point, not necessarily from him.
Oh, my damn. Someone sent a picture. Josh, remember that episode of South Park where Randy Marsh couldn't get himself anywhere near any internet porn?
Oh, that was so gross at the end.
That was nasty.
Internet porn went away on an episode of South Park, and they were driving all over the country to find the internet. Marsh was specifically looking for internet porn, and he finally found a computer. And he just unleashed the fury, didn't he, in that episode?
That was so gross.
Someone sent me a picture here. They superimposed Chris Collinsworth's head on Randy Marsh's body after he had unleashed the fury. And it's Collinsworth watching the Chiefs and Bills game, watching Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. That's a lot of fun right there.
It's a spooky ghost.
There's a ghost. This is ectoplasm.
What was the line again? How Playboy's not going to cut it? Someone offered him a Playboy. And he said, once you watch two college girls spitting in each other's mouths, Playboy's not going to cut it, or something along that. All right, I'm not going to get into... I hate this so much, but I know some of you still seem to get a kick out of this effing guy. Rob Gronkowski will attempt another field goal during Super Bowl 58. I don't remember. I guess he did it last year.
Yeah, he missed it last year.
I sure saw that commercial enough over the weekend for it.
They did play that.
Yeah, they pumped that one.
They sure did.
You can bet on it and on and on. Who cares? Now, on to college football. I know the season is over, but there's something or another here for you that you might dig. Liberty University. Their football program just closed out their most successful season at the FBS level. They went 13-1. They showed up and played in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And the program sent out a tweet about how well the players perform in the classroom as well, but not everyone is very impressed. The Liberty Flames football Twitter page bragged about their academic success. It said, getting it done in the classroom, and posted an image of the football team's 2.96 cumulative grade point average. Now, this was lost on me, but when I did some further research, I found out that a 2.96 grade point average isn't all that effing good. That's C.
I love one of the comments said, hey, C+ tweet.
Yeah. So people were confused by this. Why are they bragging about a C average?
Well, maybe it was much lower than this previous.
C's get degrees. Mm-hmm. I've heard folks say that out loud before. Yeah. One person tweeted, I dropped out of college with a better GPA than this. So I don't know, people were kind of confused.
This is kind of funny.
Maybe they were joking around. If you care, Deion Sanders college football club there, the University of Colorado, got a commitment from Gage Goldberg, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg.
Do you remember when we had him in studio at the old building and he made the breakfast order outside? We had like one phone in the building.
Yes, I do.
That took a long time.
Yes,
I've never heard of a breakfast that large in my life. I was very impressed.
All for him, I'm assuming?
Well, yeah, all for him.
I'll take 4 eggs scrambled, 3 eggs over easy, flapjacks, bacon, sausage, French toast, an entire turkey.
That's about right. I know he ordered a 10-egg omelet.
I didn't even know that was possible.
A sleeve of snickerdoodles, and he just went on forever. So if you get fired up about that kind of a thing, Bill Goldberg's son is going to try to play college football for Deion Sanders' program. It claims he was a hell of a high school athlete. It says he's only 6 foot tall and 205-pound middle linebacker. I don't know if that's not big enough for today's operation, is it?
Normally they'll recruit football players, linebackers at like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", yeah.
Well, there you go. I guess Goldberg and Prime Time are pretty good buddies. So,
okay,
that's kind of what I thought, Randy.
Yep.
I thought, okay.
I mean, if that's what he's going to do is recruit his friends' kids as opposed to the best players, whatever. They kind of finished the season that way, right? So.
Yeah. Boy, the Pigs needed that one, didn't they?
Sure did.
They did. They got a shutout win in front of the home crowd last night. Marc-Andre Fleury finally skipped past Patrick Waugh for second place on the all-time goaltender career wins list. They shut out the New York Islanders 5-0. So Fleury got his 552nd career win. His 74th career shutout. Eriksson Ek scored a couple of times. Hey, they got 2 power play goals and a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, they kind of got a mix of everything last night.
And they piled up Summers around 40 shots on net.
Yeah.
The Islanders look like a train wreck. But here we go now. Some players are coming back from injuries. The Russian kid is back. Old Phil, the goalie. Not that it mattered last Saturday night when Arizona beat them to near death. But those guys are back.
Yeah.
Jonas Brodin is back in the mix after missing.
Which is why Bill Guerin last night said, you know what, we're going to make a run at this. We think once we're healthy, we've got a chance to be pretty good. So
fair enough. Next up, the boys play at Tampa Bay on Thursday. Ooh, Tampa Bay! They got no chance. They got no chance against my Tampa Bay. What's the name of the hockey team again? The Lightning.
Yeah, they got Baker Mayfield out there.
I'm a Florida guy, Randy.
Yes, you are.
You think Baker's going to be there?
We'd all like to be Florida.
Baker Mayfield's going to be throwing those pucks.
Dude, NHL fans need to get a look at the sweaters that the All-Stars are going to be wearing on the ice in a couple of weeks because they are absolutely god-awful.
Those are so bad.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to 2 seconds of NHL All-Star stuff. It's just absolutely silly.
When I saw the headline, I thought, well, how bad can they be? This is just people being mean, but no, they weren't. They were right.
So I won't have to put up with it because I don't watch NHL All-Star stuff at all.
Some player gives away his all-star bonus just so he doesn't have to be seen in one of those jerseys.
Taking himself out of the game.
These are bad.
You know what? This is worth the $100,000 I was going to get to not have to wear this.
Yeah, it's almost like a player's kid made the jersey.
I was going to say, it looks like a kid won a contest or something.
It's bad. They put pictures of these sweaters up on the internet, and it's... Apparently, the NHL collaborated with Justin Bieber's fashion brand.
Oh, boy.
Something called Drew House, and it turned out embarrassingly bad. I don't have words to describe them. You just have to see them for yourself. Did you put them up on the damn website?
I'll do that right now.
Throw them up on 93x.com. It does look like a 6th grade class, maybe even less than that, not even 6th grade. A 2nd grade class was put in charge of designing these damn things. Whatever happened just to the black and orange sweaters that they wore for years and years and years and years? Back in the day, Randy Shaver, you probably remember it just said Campbell on the front of one sweater and Wales, Prince of Wales on the other.
You know what? If they did that again, they probably would sell a ton of them.
Oh, God,
sure,
yes.
You're right.
You know?
But, you always got to try to come up with something new, something fresh. Let's get the kids interested, all that crap.
I remember Bieber's brand, they made Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys, and they were actually pretty sick. They were like black and blue, and the leaf looked more detailed.
Well, someone will have to show those to me. Bieber designed the Maple Leaf sweaters just for one game, are you telling me?
Yeah, they wore them as an alternate jersey.
Because he's a big hockey guy and they love him and everything?
Yeah.
Is he Canadian?
Yes.
He is Canadian.
He's a big Maple Leafs fan.
Wapple, are you someone who has a leaf on their shirt? And if so, describe this leaf.
It's got 7 leaves on it. It's kind of green.
I see that.
Looks like oregano.
That's a marijuana leaf.
Bacon-loving craft beer snob Jesus texted in to say those NHL All-Star sweaters are so ugly a dog wouldn't take a dump on them. But it's always got to be something cute and, something brand new. Again, I I haven't watched the NHL All-Star stuff in years, so have at it. Golden Gopher Hoops didn't quite have enough in the tank to keep up with the Iowegians last night at the barn ski.
Yeah, I was a little confounded by some of the stuff that happened last night.
Well, talk to me about your confoundment.
Well, why after such a great game before, Peril, the Payne kid last night, doesn't play more minutes than he did?
Good question.
Didn't seem to be a lot of adjustments last night.
Pharrell Payne maybe was injured, maybe wasn't feeling well. I don't know.
I don't know. He only got 14 minutes last night. He's been their best player. I don't know. It's disappointing because this Iowa team is just mediocre. They're not a great team. It was a winnable game at home. It's disappointing after getting off to such a good start that they didn't find a way to win that game last night. And I hope that they figure some things out between now and the next one so that this doesn't become a skid where they can't get out of.
I hear you.
After such a great start.
Well, they got to play Michigan State on Thursday on the road. Oof. The Hawkeyes won by
Michigan State's not
very
good.
No, they're not. They're not.
No, they're
the powerhouse that we were used to seeing.
I mean, Ohio State, Michigan are all below 500 in the conference. They're down this year. So again, these are the games, you talk about this a lot with every team that's in town. These are the games that you have to win in order to put yourself in position when it comes postseason time. You can't afford to lose these kind of games because now that means that you're going. Clem used to always say, we have to win all of our games at home and sneak about 3 or 4 on the road. If we do that, we're going to have a great record and we're in the dance. You take care of business at home and you sneak a couple on the road, and that's all you really need in the Big Ten.
I'm always willing to listen to a quote from Clem Haskin. Fran McCaffery, the Iowegian coach, is now the winningest coach in program history after winning that game last night. Passing who, Randy Shea?
Lute Olson?
Lute Olson? No.
Dick Schultz?
No. What are you just rattling off old basketball?
Old Iowa coaches. Who was the winning?
Dr. Tom Davis.
Oh, God. He sucks. Sorry. I was never a Tom Davis fan.
I hear you. That's fine.
Lute Olson and Dick Schultz were the two guys that...
Lute Olson. Lute Olson was from here, and then he died, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He was at Arizona, had all those great
Yep.
years.
Rick Pitino, speaking of college basketball coaches, Rick Pitino doesn't like to lose.
When we lose, I hate the world. Just so you understand that. No, I don't feel good. I've never felt good with a loss, pardon my language. So I don't feel good. I don't believe in those valiant efforts on the road. No, I feel like I want to kill myself, jump in the cold, and die of frostbite.
Wow. You almost dropped an F-bomb in there.
Yeah, I heard. Boy, he did drop one, right?
Yeah.
He would rather die of
another one.
Almost at the end.
He'd rather die of frostbite than lose a basketball game. He's now the head coach of St. John's operation, and they lost a close game to Creighton the other day, and a reporter asked him if he felt good about the way his team played. You know, Creighton's very good.
Yeah, they are good.
He said, no. I effing hate the world. He mentions dying of frostbite and suicide.
So dramatic.
Anthony Edwards landed in an article from Bleacher Report on NBA players who deserve more All-Star votes. Again, as I made very clear when we were discussing the NHL All-Star game, I don't get too wound up over this kind of thing anymore because it's just become a sideshow. With the exception of baseball, it's just become a sideshow. But I understand it means money for the players and this and that.
Well, it gives some legitimacy to the season that you're having too.
I suppose.
So I would say that it's going to be somewhat important for the Wolves to get Anthony Edwards in the All-Star game.
Or Carl or Rudy or whoever they're pushing. They're pushing the big three.
Yeah, I'm not so sure those other two are there in that conversation. I would say Edwards for sure.
Well, it's a shame because when you read about who's ahead of Anthony Edwards in All-Star voting, and it's always almost strictly a popularity contest.
Sure.
It's ridiculous that James Harden, it's ridiculous that he's even in the mix, but everyone just, it's like a natural reaction now. Oh, Kyrie Irving? Yeah, oh yeah, I know him. James Harden? Oh yeah, he shoots 3-pointers. It's ridiculous. James Harden sucks.
I still think that there's room for new players, that stuff kind of washes itself out and it takes care of itself. I really think that Edwards will end up
okay.
there.
All right, but still, I
mean, guys like Chris Paul are no longer all-star caliber players, and some other guys. There's going to be room for these younger guys to find their way into that game.
And
I mean, to me, the best guard right now is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's not getting the votes either, Randy, according to what I was reading.
That's a shame.
Yes.
That's a crime because
Anthony Edwards is not alone. Gilgeous-Alexander and Jamal Murray are lagging far
Jamal
behind.
Murray's been hurt, though.
You've been hurt.
So
tell us about the pain.
I've been hurt a lot, actually. By you.
It's not that big of a deal.
I've been here for some of that, actually.
Yeah, so maybe I won't ask you who hurt you.
I mean, I would say
the answer is me.
I would say Tyrese Halliburton deserves the All-Star, guys like that. But you're right. There's the old guard that's going to be hard for people
for
to
God's
let go
sake.
of.
They just can't. James Harden, are you kidding me? By the way, speaking of the All-Star, okay, now the NBA All-Star, we started talking about the NBA All-Star game. Now, this is pretty cool. Indianapolis is where Tyrese Halliburton plays, right, Randy Shaver?
Yes. Yeah.
Indianapolis is the host city. This is really cool to look at. Just to hype everybody up. It's when is the game? In a couple, 3 weeks.
Usually February.
Yeah, February 18th. They got plenty of time. But just to kind of hype things up, the Indianapolis airport set up a full-length basketball court at their airport. Now, I don't think you're allowed to grab a basketball, go run around shooting threes, but it looks really cool. Did you see the pictures, Josh?
Yeah, it looks awesome. Did you post that, Ashley?
No, I
forgot if I sent it to you.
In the airport.
Or in the terminal.
In the terminal.
Oh, I got you.
What did you think I meant? Like out on the runway?
I wasn't sure.
That would be sweet.
That'd be dangerous.
It'd be fun if you could play, though. You know, you get a flight delay. Should we go to the bar or you want to go play some 5-on-5?
Well, let's go to the bar and play some 5-on-5. Yeah. You and some buddies traveling out of town, you swing through Indianapolis and...
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was traveling to Washington, D.C. not too long ago, that they should have like more things for you to do at the airport. I was thinking, like, how cool would it be to have like a couple pool tables? Play some pool while you're waiting for your flight.
You got to just get a margarita at Chili's 2.
Yes, there you go.
Pocket billiards. Sounds like fun to me. The Washington Wizards, they aren't the most high-profile ball club in the NBA, so I had never heard of a kid named Ryan Rollins up until yesterday, but he's one of the Wizards' up-and-coming players. Those who do follow the Wiz were surprised a day or two ago when the team just upped and cut this kid. But now we know why. He's been charged with 7 counts of petty larceny. He was caught shoplifting household items from a local Target store over there in D.C.
Oh, boy.
That's embarrassing for him and the team.
Yeah.
Dude's a millionaire.
Yeah, why does he need to do that?
Many different occasions, they say, he was stealing small household items, groceries, body wash, candles, and such from a Target store.
Some people do that just for the thrill of doing it.
You're right.
Yeah, what is that, like a kleptomaniac or something?
They can't help themselves. Yeah.
He was making $1.7 million. But, again, like you just stated, it's not always about the money. It's just about...
Yeah. The rush.
I guess. That's a great reputation to have around the league now. And you're, what, I don't know. I'm just taking a guess. He's 23, 4 years old.
Yeah.
He's 21, I think.
21.
Yeah.
And multiple times. That's nuts. Wonder how long they knew before they just decided, all right, he's not going to learn a lesson.
Yeah, good question. Was that kleptomania? Is that what that is?
No, that's where you sleep with dead people.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Here's a good point from a listener. You know, you don't get rich by spending money.
Oh, man.
Boy,
of course, we were sneak thieves when we were kids.
Really?
Shoplifting and things like that, and then we'd steal stuff out of your house if you let us in there for a few minutes.
Aren't we in kind of a day and age now, though, where these big some stores just let people walk out.
Yes.
Stuff that they don't challenge them. Or
you can get in trouble if you try and stop them in some stores.
I was always told, like when I worked in retail places, like if someone steals something, just let them walk out with it. Like don't confront them at all. Don't put yourself in danger.
Well, it's not just the danger; it's the potential lawsuit if you chase a dude outside, he gets hit by a car in the parking lot.
Yep.
And some businesses don't want the negative publicity. Yeah. And they don't want people thinking it's dangerous to show up.
Isn't that just a shame?
That's ridiculous.
It is, yeah.
But, I was saying when we were junior high kids and high school kids, we were sneak thieves. And then I remember witnessing, as a kid, witnessing adults do things like, sweep all the ketchup into their purse at McDonald's and the type of person that would change in the old days when there used to be a price tag, a price sticker.
Yes.
On items at the grocery store, they would switch the stickers.
Yep.
So suddenly they could. I remember as a kid going, "Wow! I mean, adults doing this? What the hell's the matter?" I mean, I'm a kid. I didn't understand grown people doing that.
I had a buddy that shoplifted, I think, everything he owned. And he'd walk out of a store wearing like 4 pairs of jeans. He just looked ridiculous.
As a kid?
As a teenager,
As a kid.
yeah, when we were in high school.
Yeah, this lady that was a friend of mine's mother. We'd go to the grocery store with her, and she'd take the little sticker off the bread loaf that said $1.29 on it and put it on something expensive. So then come to the register, and of course, 9 times out of 10, the cashier's a 15-year-old. They're trying to get their job done as quickly as possible. They just ring it up. Hulk Hogan rescued a woman from an overturned vehicle over the weekend. He and his old lady and a friend of his were driving Summers, saw a wild car accident. Car flipped over onto its lid. Hulk and his buddy raced to the scene and pulled a 17-year-old girl out of the car. They're being hailed as heroes.
Oh, good.
My favorite thing is if you look at the pictures, he's wearing an NWO shirt. Of course he was.
And the friggin' head wrap, whatever it is. What do you call that? Do-rag. He doesn't go anywhere without that do-rag.
No.
That'd be insane. All of a sudden, Hulk Hogan's running to you.
You feel like a dream, wouldn't it?
Brother.
Wouldn't you think, oh no, I died in this crash?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You got in a car wreck, didn't you, brother?
What you gonna do when the car rolls over on you?
Good thing I took my vitamins and said my prayers this morning. And out of nowhere, I would think out of nowhere, Flair's going to drop a leg on him or something. Hey, Randy Shaver, we got something. We got to get going here in a minute, but we got something pretty exciting coming up on Friday, barring a catastrophe. Did you hear about this, Randy?
Randy's the one that got this going.
Have you heard about this, Randy?
Yeah, Randy heard about it.
Actually.
He started it.
Well, in case our listeners don't know, in studio Friday, Joe Schmidt, who was our first choice.
God.
Way back 25,
you know what?
6.
If you'd like Joe to be your choice, you can do that.
Well, we can talk to him about it. Was this another one of those moments where I've hurt you? Joe Schmidt from Channel 5 News and Joe Mauer are going to join us in studio Friday to talk about a book that Joe wrote.
Joe Schmidt wrote.
Pardon me.
Correct.
Yes, I don't know why I didn't specify there. A book that Joe Schmidt wrote about our morning show.
No.
And the success thereof it. And
the Joe one Mauer that got away.
Yes. Joe Mauer would like to be here to comment on all that. No, we're pretty excited to have those guys in studio.
That's great.
I mean, especially fun to talk to Joe because the Hall of Fame gets announced next Wednesday.
Joe Mauer. Next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
The 23rd.
You said
you also didn't specify which Joe.
Because there's 2 Joes coming
in. The Broadcasting Hall of Fame gets announced next Wednesday, and we'll find out Joe Schmidt made it in. Joe Mauer, yes.
I read some things. We don't need to get into this because we're out of time, but I read some things where it's looking pretty promising for Joe Mauer to maybe get in on the first ballot.
Is.
With 162 ballots revealed so far, which is about 42%, he's been on 83% of them. And you need 75% to get in.
We can ask him about that on Friday. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it, but we can at least try.
Sure.
All right, there we go, Randy. Thanks for everything.
You bet.
And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.
What your dollar count?
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Hard to believe, but it's really happening. Dr. P. Jesus is in studio this morning. It's 8:25 here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Thanks for tuning in on this terribly cold morning. Dr. P is all ready to give his best effort for our listeners who might be, they might be having something funny going on with their health and or well-being. Hello, Dr. P.
Good morning, everybody.
What's happening?
Nothing
Welcome to the Dr. P Studios.
That's right. Oh, is it really?
Yeah, you made a request last time that for your appearances, or maybe you mean of all time, it's the Dr. P Studios here at 93X.
I think just when I'm here, that makes sense.
That you're okay with that?
Until you get a high-paid sponsor buying the studio again. Yeah.
It'll be yours during this time?
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense to us.
We'd be proud to hang your name on the doors.
I'm going to touch everything in these studios before I leave today.
So it's yours?
Yes.
Wapple's been dreaming of this moment.
Everything?
Yeah, you're going to have to wash your hands afterwards. This place is gross.
This place is kind of filthy. You might end up catching something. Well, thanks for coming in studio, Dr. P.
You bet. Good to be here.
Always good to see you.
Likewise.
We've got text messages rolling in already. Cool. A lot of our listeners have issues. Medical
I'm
issues.
wondering, so we're going to see you Saturday. Randy Shaver has his pickleball event out there in Shakopee. You're going to be playing.
I am going to be playing. Yes.
And when we were talking about this last time, a woman, she texted in and said she is she's in the medical profession, and she would not let anyone she knows play pickleball because there's basically a pickleball wing at hospitals now. And I think you've mentioned this before with, a lot of folks like myself that aren't super active, and I've played pickleball 5 or 6 times, I think 5 of those with you, that are going out there trying a little too hard and injuring themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt people do get hurt playing. I think it's, anytime you have a bunch of people doing something new, there's sort of a statistical thing. A certain number of them will get hurt. And so I think, and you hear about the people that get hurt. You don't hear about the millions and millions of people who play every day and don't get hurt. So that's part of it. But there is absolutely something to be said for people who, maybe they used to play tennis. They used to be an athlete. Now it's 25, 30 years later. And they're like, wow, this pickleball is pretty fun. And then you go out there and you start sprinting around. And it's the same thing that happens to, beer league softball people.
Oh, really? Yeah. I guess I haven't heard that.
Soft tissue things like hamstrings and Achilles start to go twang.
Yeah.
Just from sudden movements. And so it is something that you really do need to ease into. There's a few things that are, we could talk about this for a minute. It's a good idea to take a lesson with somebody. It's a good idea to get the right kind of shoes for the court. If you wear running shoes, you're really, you're asking to twist your ankle.
Really? What about tennis shoes you got at Kohl's? That aren't really tennis shoes.
I mean, court shoes of some kind.
Court shoe? I've never heard of court shoes.
Well, basketball shoes are court shoes. Or tennis, literally tennis shoes. We tend to use that term.
I guess I forget there's a difference between basketball shoes, running shoe. I'm not a tennis shoe guy by any stretch. Okay.
Running tends to be pretty high and very cushy and made to go in a straight line. But if you start to cut and pivot and move sideways, that's easily roll your ankle. But basketball shoes are wider in the base, more cushion for
the push.
More cushion for the push-in. But probably less cushy overall, but more supportive.
Here's the thing: the bottom line is for pickleball players, especially the older ones, it's just a matter of friggin' time, isn't it? It's just a matter of time.
My other hobby for all these years, obviously, has been riding with Jessica Zaleski on motorcycles. And people say the same thing about that. Like, it's a matter of time. Like, I've squeaked through all these years of track riding and teaching, and I haven't gotten hurt.
Wait a minute. You had your knees replaced. Wasn't that related to a motorcycle accident?
No.
Wasn't that a dirt bike?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sorry, let me retract that statement.
Yeah, I thought like you crashed on some sort of motorcycle.
Do you have your own career statistics screwed up? Or what?
Did you get a concussion?
I think I did. No, well, that was a dirt bike, so that was technically...
All right.
Yeah. You're right. It's a matter of time.
You're nitpicking now.
I'll probably blow out something
Josh,
bad on Saturday.
If you hurt yourself on Saturday, Josh, I mean, that'd be terrible. But don't you think it would be kind of fun at the same time?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'll rush over and put a splint on whatever it is, and we'll just put ice packs all over you.
It'll be, if we'll have to yell, is there a doctor in the house? And I bet you wouldn't stand up if it was me.
No, I would run out the door.
It'd be kind of fun or funny, and maybe a badge of honor.
But I hope he doesn't get hurt.
And you get to just kind of be a lazy sumbitch around the house for a few weeks, depending on the severity of the...
And you can sue Randy Shaver.
Sue Randy
Shaver.
Somehow you could get that done.
That's the image I want. I'm the guy that sued a leading cancer fundraiser.
Right.
You mentioned beer league softball. I played it for, decades, and we were really, really lucky. Really lucky. Because I think that's a fair comparison. A bunch of overweight morons trying to relive high school glory. No one stretches. Everyone drinking beer the whole time. We were really, really lucky. I saw a couple of groins fall off and a couple of... I saw one Achilles tendon go shooting across the ballpark. But, consider playing it for 30 years. We were pretty lucky, but...
Yeah, it's something that if people are getting into it... Really taking lessons, starting to do. There's lots of videos out there about just working on some basic, lateral movement, forward, backward movement stuff. And
I never stretch. I'm in so much trouble.
Trying not to be heroic because it's pickleball. There's this thing where ball looks like it's coming over the net. It clips the net. It sort of drops down. You leap forwards to be heroic and get the ball, and that's when you push off and really snap your hamstring.
Nick tries not to be heroic, but he always is.
It's true.
He always. Dread Chick Jesus said she was doing an intense workout class yesterday, having a really hard time catching her breath. About 25 minutes in, I started experiencing a sharp pain in the front side of my right shoulder area, and she asked, is it pleurisy? Pleurisy?
That's a collapsed lung, right, Dr. P?
Well, a pneumothorax.
Oh,
is a
right.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, sure. Pleurisy. Pleurisy means pain related to the lining of the lung, and that's not. You can't just say something is pleurisy just based on a description. Obviously, if someone's vigorously exercising and they start having chest pain of any kind, all of a sudden, that tends, that's something you don't usually want to ignore.
She must be in pretty good shape. She said she's been doing the classes 5 days a week for a year and has never experienced something like that.
Yeah, if you, again, it's just with chest pain, obviously you don't want to ignore anything bad. But if it hurts when you take a deep breath, that can be a sign of pleuritic type pain.
Mm-hmm.
I would think it'd be more likely to be some sort of a strained muscle between a rib or something in someone who's fit and we're assuming it's not heart related. To suddenly get pleurisy is a little unusual. Typically it's going to be a viral infection or pneumonia or something has to be irritating the lining of the lung.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So getting that checked out is something you'd recommend?
Again, on here with chest pain, you always have to say that for sure.
Being a guy who, as you know, suffered a collapsed lung when I was a young kid, I would get those sharp pains in my chest now and again, and I would always fear, oh God, it's collapsed again, but yet it was just pleurisy. It can be really painful.
Yeah,
it can be really painful.
It absolutely can be. There's all sorts of other things. Blood clot to the lung. There's just the list is long when people start to describe chest pain, and so I don't want to say, oh, you're fine, go back to class. So yeah, it's good to go in and be seen. Make sure there's nothing weird going on.
For whatever reason, Dr. P, this morning I'm getting via the text machine a lot of foot-related questions. Feet. One, see if you can knock out 2 in 1 here. One about terrible foot odor and what might be available to correct such a thing. And then gout medication.
Sure. Well, foot odor, typically, fungal infection. So Athlete's foot is probably the most common one.
That stuff can be. I've had it since I was a kid. I can't shake it.
It's really tough to eradicate once fungus likes us, and feet tend to live most of their life in a warm, dark place in your shoes, and so that's a happy place for fungal fungus. And so there's lots. Thank you. Fungus, the fungus among us. Sorry,
you gonna be okay?
Yes, I am okay.
He had a bowl of fungus on his way in.
I did, a fungus bar. But there's lots of over-the-counter treatments for it, whether it's a cream, a spray, a powder, and you've just got to stick with it. And then the other thing is with your shoe wear, you really you got to let it dry out. So it needs to dry out, have a time to probably be treated with some of that antifungal stuff.
The key so far, in my opinion, is to stick with it. I've attacked my feet with this and that and the other thing over the years. And the problem is, I tell myself, it's better now. And I stop practicing whatever it was, the powder or the spray, and it comes right back. You gotta stay on that for friggin' years.
I mean, at least months, I would say. Because, yes, I don't know whether it is really possible to completely, absolutely eradicate every last little fungal element. Because, again, fungal spores can live in the soil for tens of thousands of years and sort of be dormant and then wake up. And so when we have a fungal infection, some of the animals or whatever, the organisms, there we go, are active. Other ones are sort of sleeping, and so you kind of got to keep treating it to get through this cycle. Now, 10,000 years, hopefully you don't have to do it for, but it's crazy. And yes, as soon as it starts to seem a little better, most of our human reaction is to say, all right, I'm good, I'm moving on. So sticking with it. And if your shoes are just obliterated and destroyed, you got to throw those out.
Yeah, freshen those up.
Yeah.
Freshen up your... Okay, the second foot-related question was, do you have any recommendations on gout medication? I know gout can attack other spots of your body, not just your feet, but I'm going to go ahead and assume this guy or gal has foot gout.
Yep. The most common spot is the base of the big toe. The first metatarsal phalangeal joint. And it's just, I think it's because that joint, if you think about it, when we walk, I mean, all of your weight gets translated through that joint repeatedly again and again. And so joints that are stressed a lot tend to be the ones that they get a little irritated. And gout is when uric acid crystals, basically, if you've got elevated uric acid, it's in solution in your blood. And if it starts to crystallize out of solution, it'll crystallize in a joint. And crystals hurt because they cause inflammation. And so you get this whole thing. So there's two different ways to look about gout. There's medicines to help prevent gout attacks, and that's a more complicated topic probably. But for people who get acute attacks, things like ibuprofen or sort of prescription versions of ibuprofen-like medications are the first line. And you want to talk to your doctor about it, because if you keep getting attacks and they're not really resolving correctly, all that crystallization that happens can start to cause bony changes to the joint that can be a problem forever. So
they'll find you something.
Yep. So anti-inflammatory.
Your doctor will find you something.
Yep. Prednisone is another, anti-inflammatory steroid medicine. There's a weird medicine called colchicine that's not used for hardly anything else.
What makes it weird?
That's the one that I've dumped into my system to correct my gout.
Yeah, that is the weirdest medicine because it inhibits microtubule formation in cells.
Sure.
And
I totally know what that means.
But it truly, every time I even think about it, microtubules are what move like your chromosomes and DNA around in the cell, like when cells are dividing and stuff. It's bizarre what it does. It basically stops your white blood cells in a joint from doing their thing.
Whatever it does, it's worked wonders for me.
Yep. So there's a variety of things, and then if you have a lot of attacks, you usually need to be on something that it lowers your uric acid level in your blood.
Tommy H. Jesus said he has smelly urine and some side pain for almost a month. What could cause this, he asks?
Smells real bad, huh?
Smelly urine.
Yeah, and almost a month, and he's got the side pain.
Well, I mean, boy, smelly, though. I mean, you would think infection, I guess. He didn't say what it smells like? Smells like Teen Spirit or Victory or... I mean, if it's, well, if it looks, milky or that's a terrible word. Sorry about those people eating cereal. But if it looks like it has white blood cells in it, that's certainly a sign of infection. I mean, men don't tend to get urine infection the same way as women, but if you have side pain and you have funny smelling urine, the concern would be, do you actually have a kidney infection? And it's causing... That's an unusual way for someone to notice that they have a kidney infection with the smell of urine.
Ooh, I had a kidney infection. That hurts.
Yeah,
that was so painful.
Yeah, I mean it's bad, and you could also have a kidney stone and have an associated infection. So that would be one avenue. But I mean, he needs to go in to have a urinalysis to see is it white blood cells and bacteria in there, or is something else going on? I mean, you can have metabolic problems.
Should he bring a jar in and have the doctor take a whiff of it himself?
In the old days they would have done that. And taken a little taste.
They did not.
It's been at least like 5 to 10 years since we.
God help us.
You don't do that anymore.
No, we've got machines.
Do you ever just want to go old school?
No.
Go back to your roots.
Yeah, that would be way back. No, but he'll get there and then do a urine sample. I mean, you could have gonorrhea or chlamydia, as we always like to bring up.
Do you know the difference in smell between gonorrhea and chlamydia?
That'd be impressive.
I do not, actually.
Okay.
Snowplow 17G. I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh, he needs to get in for a urinalysis.
Yeah. Get in there.
Urinalysis.
Snowplow 17 Jesus said, a couple months ago I got punched pretty hard in the testes while crowd surfing at a metal show. Ooh, which one? Left testicle, all black and blue. It was, he said. Now when he shoots his shot, it hurts a little and has a strange, quote, texture. Should probably get checked out, huh? He says.
God. Strange texture.
I think you just answered his own question.
Yeah.
Probably should get a texture.
Okay. I mean, that's a bummer. But yeah, a texture though.
I'm curious, how the texture changed.
It's now 80 grit.
Right, and is the appearance of texture, or texture tends to mean it feels different.
A little more viscous?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, a bruised nut would make me think you had a blood clot in there or something.
A bruise.
The coloration. Did he say it turned black?
Black and blue?
Yeah. Anytime anything turns black and blue, it means a blood vessel was injured because blood leaks out into the tissues and is initially kind of purple, and then as it resolves, it goes through the whole yellow and whatever.
All the pretty colors.
All the pretty colors. So he obviously bruised something. It's a good idea to get it looked at. If you injured the blood supply to the testicle, then he would have had horrible pain because it's a blood-starved testicle is essentially a heart attack of your testicle, which hurts a lot. Anytime we lose blood supply to something.
Really?
So that probably didn't happen.
A heart attack of the testicle.
A Nard attack.
A Nard attack, yeah.
I guess I just mean a heart attack in the sense that it hurts with the heart because your blood supply is limited. But, there could just be some injury to the testicle itself. I mean, it sounds like whatever it's producing is not quite normal. But the texture, I don't...
That would freak me out the most. Yeah. More so than the black and blue.
But it's probably good to get an ultrasound and see.
Those ultrasounds on your nuts are fun.
Yeah. So
they are.
Again, it would be...
had a couple of those.
Probably urinalysis, a physical exam by the doc. And if you injure a testicle bad enough, sometimes that testicle sort of, shrinks and kind of dies, which doesn't mean necessarily anything terrible unless you only had one testicle to begin with.
I can't handle the shrinking. Dr. P.
You think most guys would be racing in to get their nuts checked?
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Balltrasound, Dr. P?
No.
So, here's the setting. It's a darkened room.
Yes, it is.
It's very warm.
Yes.
You're exposed from the waist down.
Oh, more than that in my case.
What?
I was ass naked.
You were
what?
not?
Yes, I was. Why? You didn't get ass naked?
You were completely naked?
You don't have to take your shirt off.
Well, I did. They put me in a robe. I was naked.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I was just from the waist down, kind of like when I make love.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, it's dark, it's warm.
They put a warm jelly on, and the whole time you're thinking is, number one, please don't find cancer. Number two, please don't move, because you're afraid it's going to move. You can't really help it. There's just so much going on down there.
Oh, okay.
And there's complete focus. Paid attention to your genitals.
You're handled by strangers,
and there's
which
some
is something that I enjoy.
You sure do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. I had the worst situation. Then we got to take a break in a minute here. But when I got my Balltrasound, I had some testicular torsion, but also there was kind of a lump in there, and so they needed to make sure it was not cancer. And so, like Josh described everything perfectly, dark, warm, I'm naked.
Well, partially naked in most people's cases. But.
They cover my bag with this warm
KY
jelly
or whatever it is.
Right, and then it's a lady.
Yeah, same.
She wasn't the worst looking gal in the world, and she's running this like laser machine, this like laser stick on my nads, and she says to me, I think she located this lump, right? She located it. Mm-hmm. And then she lost it, which, I wasn't mad at her. She's like, I can't seem to locate that lump. Can you show me where it is?
Oh, I hate when they make you do that.
So then I'm touching myself.
Yep.
To try and find the lump, right? I'm handling myself, and then I can't find it, right? So then she says, well, maybe it will be easier for you if you stand up. So she's sitting on a stool. I'm standing in front of her. Her face is right at, hog level. And I'm basically fondling myself, pinching my testicles up and down. And I kind of looked around to what was happening, and I said, this is absolutely insane.
It's not fair.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then they'll be
I got one leg up in the air, up on the wall, and I'm like way down deep trying, and I'm like, there it is, and I have to squeeze so she can.
You found it though?
Yes, I did, and everything was fine, but it was just so dumb.
And then they'll tell you, okay, grab the Frank, move this over that way. I mean, you have like a little tiny hand towel covering you up.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Do they do the same thing with men when they're done? They just throw a towel at you and they're like, all right, wipe yourself off?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
When they do that, it always just like, I don't know, it stings a little. I'm like, oh,
They
okay,
throw
fine.
it at you?
Well, I mean,
Nick and I,
more or less, they just said, go ahead, clean, get all the jelly off your nuts,
Nick and I have very good insurance, so they did that for us.
That's nice.
I mean,
Right.
but I was as naked as the day I was born. And this is twice now where I've been in situations. I'll have to explain this when we come back. We got to take a break. We got more questions for Dr. P. Jesus. Text us 651-989-9393 if you have a question for the doctor. We'll return here in a minute.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
All right, yeah. Dr. P. Jesus is here. He's in studio. It's been a wonderful thing. We got time for a couple more questions that have been texted in from our listeners on their health issues. But first, Josh and I were having this conversation on air and off air about we both had prior, what do you call it?
Balltrasounds.
Balltrasounds, where they check out the inside of our nut bag. We both had Balltrasounds. I got completely naked. You kept your shirt on. We both had colonoscopies. Again, I was asked to be naked, or maybe I just wanted to. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
You told me off air you were not naked for your colonoscopy.
No.
Why am I always naked?
I don't know. Maybe you just kind of start disrobing and they just go along with it.
Yeah, when they hand you the gown, do you just assume you have to take it all off?
I think that I was asked to be naked.
I ask you all the time.
Okay.
And only 50% of the time you go along with it. It's going to be yes.
So I don't know. We have differing experiences.
Interesting.
I feel as if I was asked, but maybe the pervert in me just takes over and I take off all of my.
But anyway, you're here for a strep test. Why are your clothes off?
Well, Josh tells me. Josh tells me he's been naked before in situations where he didn't think he needed to be.
Yeah,
medically speaking, of course.
That was Dr. P. I had my regular doctor. Anytime you go see her, like for a physical or whatever, she has you get naked. And I've never had that before. And it's not like she's not checking the prostate. She's doing nothing that would require full nudity. Like the closest would be when she's pushing on your tummy to, I don't know, make you toot. I don't know, what do they push? Check your adenoids?
Feeling your organs.
Feeling your organs, yeah, that kind of thing.
Anyway, real quick.
Yeah, ideally it's a quick look at the skin, too.
I haven't had that.
Well, if you're naked, they might be looking at your skin.
Well, I mean, I can guarantee you that she doesn't. I mean, I'm covered in that robe deal, or whatever.
Okay,
the
so
gown.
you're naked but wearing a gown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the traditional way we're taught to have people do that. I was probably not great about it because people were just so awkward.
Here's a text from.
It's our fault.
No. I always felt like a guy sitting there in a gown was. I mean, the women are so used to it because they gotta typically have the pelvic exam. The guys are like, come on.
They don't want to get naked, you're saying?
Well, they don't want to put the gown on. I mean,
the gown sucks.
Well, I always accessorize with some pearls or a clutch. The right pumps really make a difference.
Excellent.
Here's a text message question from Heyo Fella Jeebus. He wants to know, at my recent visits to the dentist, did I get naked? I don't. Okay, one more note on my Balltrasound, because, Josh, this is a text message that you need to hear. Some of you are going to be so lost, you're going to be upset with me. Some of you are going to get this, and that's why I'm throwing it into the mix. A text from Swamp Stomping Jesus about my Balltrasound where I had a lump in my testicles. He simply wants to know, was the lump alone in a boggy marsh? All right, further questions for Dr. P. That's genius, by the way, Swamp Stomping Jesus. Absolute genius. One more on my end. Dr. P. Jesus, how dangerous are frontal lobe seizures?
Dangerous.
How dangerous are frontal lobe seizures? We're talking about the brain here, I believe, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, I was asking
I guess
for myself.
Well, I mean, seizures in general are dangerous primarily because you can completely lose consciousness and, fall on the floor and be having a tonic-clonic seizure and frothing at the mouth and peeing and pooping your pants. I mean, because that's your whole brain kind of going.
Are there chicks there?
Maybe when you're out.
No.
But there's also partial seizures where, you may see weird things or smell weird things, but pretty much any seizure, you're impaired. So, if you're driving,
they're all dangerous.
They're all dangerous because if whatever you're doing, you're no longer safe. If you're on a ladder, if you're driving something, if you're anything. So
maybe they more so mean to their long-term existence.
Yeah. I can't think of anything offhand about frontal lobe seizures. I feel like it's not the most common place for them to be originating from, but you would. With any seizure disorder, you want to limit the number of seizures you have because it's a violent thing for your brain. It's obviously a violent thing and interferes with your life too. But there's, and there's some very unfortunate people who, for whatever reason, because of developmental issues, because of brain injuries at birth, because of head injuries, who, have tons of seizures, and we can't prevent them, and they may happen multiple times a day, but you still want to try to decrease the number of seizures because it does take its toll on the brain. I don't know anything specific about frontal lobe.
Well, I think you've given some thought to it anyway and provided the listener with something, and that's what they were looking for.
But trying to be on medicine to help prevent them completely is the goal so that you can get on with your life and hopefully, drive and do all the normal things that people do when they're not worried about seizures.
Sure.
Itchy Bob Jesus works outside all winter. He said he doesn't sweat much, but in the cold like today, his feet and hands sweat like crazy. Only when he's cold, though, which makes them colder, right, when he's sweating them out.
I have the same problem.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh. Why do my stupid hands and stupid feet do this to me? And I've tried every brand of socks to try and stop it, and nothing works.
Yeah, I'm a
You're a cold sweater.
A cold sweater. Yeah. Let's try to cover this. What do you think about this, Dr. P, with the cold sweaters? I put on a pair of gloves when I go outside to do something or another in the cold, and my hands are instantly sweaty, and it makes the situation worse. Same with my feet.
That's a good question. I mean,
then suddenly I'm naked.
How does that happen?
Right. One thing leads to another.
Right.
Because I'm just thinking, if you're outside and it's really cold, your body tends to shunt the blood to your core, which is why they talk about you want to have layers on to cover your core nice and warm to because if your body is having to take blood away from your hands and feet, they can get hypothermia and frostbite, and that's not good. So, some people are just more apt to be sweaters than others. People have horribly sweaty feet or horribly sweaty palms, and I don't know that I've heard an explanation as to why somebody is like that. It's just it's a combination of your nervous system and the sweat glands and how they're tuned into each other. I would think, if you're wearing things that are very warm, really, really warm gloves and really, really warm socks, you may cause them to sweat a bit.
Guy's going to show up to work with a hockey bag full of spare pairs of socks,
Yeah. I mean, these days, especially because of battery technology, there's all sorts of cool, essentially heated socks that, and heated gloves that maybe can be a little thinner, but it can keep your hands and feet at a controlled temperature. I think most of these things, have settings.
That'd be interesting to try that. I forgot about that new deal.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, I don't know if it's cheaper in the long run, but the little things that you can put in your gloves or your boots when you ski, where it's just you squeeze the thing and
hand warmers. My wife basically coats herself in those things during the winter.
Those are so nice.
So that would provide warmth and potentially just kind of keep the area warm without having to maybe use as many layers, because if you're somebody who sweats, having layers on probably makes you sweat more. And I think, there's all sorts of products out there that probably claim to be sweat, evaporating, or that's not the right term though, sweat wicking, materials. And I feel like some of those things work well, but yeah, I would think trying the heated socks or gloves, especially, working outside right now, I don't know. I'm not sure how you can possibly regulate. It's
rough.
Yeah, it's a little extreme right now.
Right, you're either going to be too warm or too cold.
This is interesting.
It's seldom going to be right.
I never thought about this from Eastbound at Sundown Jesus. Sweaty hands and feet's a sign of a guilty conscience.
Oh, you think so?
That's according to Eastbound at Sundown Jesus.
I wonder if there's something to that.
Yeah, we didn't even go there.
You know what can give you the most warmth? Friendship.
Aw.
And you know who's cold as ice, a cold-blooded pimp? Dr. P. Jesus, our
Heck
friend.
yeah.
Woo! Dr. P. Jesus. We appreciate your time, Dr. P. And we understand that if folks have signed up for that Randy Shaver pickleball tournament this weekend, you're going to be there.
I am going to be there.
Whooping everybody's ass, he says.
Yeah, that's
now,
right.
would you ever lower yourself to jump in and trade off a little bit in the beginner's bracket? Because I know you're much more advanced, but it'd be fun to have you in as a ringer. Maybe you could step in and join one of us.
I mean, I think we could probably do that as long as we don't win.
Well, as long as I'm on the team, you're safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's a charity event. I am happy to participate in whatever way would be helpful.
I'll tell you what, after the first couple volleys, and if you and I are on the same team, it's not going to be going to your side of the court very much. They'll know exactly where to hit that thing.
Good luck at the tournament, Dr. P.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast.
It's always fun hanging out outside of this place. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. I want to send a get well to my friend Joe, who nearly killed himself while trying to be 20 years younger on a Utah mountain. Apparently, I don't know if he thought he was going to film a Mountain Dew commercial or something, but he chased the snow out to Utah, spent 3 days in the hospital. I was talking to Dr. P on the phone last night, and I read the list of injuries he suffered, and Dr. P's like, is he dead?
Where did he run into something while on a snowboard?
Yeah, he hit a boulder. You know how those boulders will jump right out at you? They'll just come out of nowhere.
That's awful.
The poor guy. I mean, Dr. P, you were saying, how did he survive?
The list of things he had were, it sounded like somebody was driving 100 miles an hour into a tree. So,
what's funny is, he's a contractor, and his employees, I was talking about it with them yesterday, they have no sympathy whatsoever.
Of course not. No.
That's nice.
So he's not going to be able to work for months because he thinks he's Shaun White and he went all kitty wampus on a snowboard.
Yeah, and actually, they're doing some work at my place, and he had said that that's actually better for me, that he's going to be sitting out because his handiwork won't be a part of the project anymore.
Well, get well soon.
I sure hope he gets better.
Yeah. Mr. Burton, Mr. What else, Wapple?
Rome.
Mr. Rome. All right. That sucks.
Yeah, hope you feel better soon there, pal. Best of luck to Rug-Burnt Nipples Jesus. Has to have a kidney removed today from Blacktop Mofo Jesus. Happy birthday to 93X listener and fellow Costco executive member, 420 Coon Rapids driver Jesus.
I'll be damned.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a flex I like to throw out there every once in a while. You know, they don't just hand that out to everybody. It's a special group of folks that are executive members. Happy birthday to Dirty Old Man Jesus, celebrating his 91st. I saw a picture. My goodness, does he look good.
Are you kidding me?
Dirty Old Man Jesus turning 91 today from his son, Dirty Old Man Junior Jesus. And happy birthday to Cope Bandit Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93 X.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's 94 years of business celebration is going on right now. You can save up to $1,930 on a new furnace and AC combo or boiler. Don't miss this great deal. Go to standardheating.com.